Mic check. You are live. You are live. You are live. Double tap hit the like button. Double tap hit the like button. Perfect Time Podcast back with the blast. In and out with a dad. Let's go 2026. We live with the vertical format. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Baby, baby, come on. Baby, baby, come on. Baby, baby, come on. Baby, baby, come on. Mega Monday, and you know we getting it done this day. You know we getting it done. So we started it off. We started off with MAGA victories. Mega Monday in the building. How's everybody doing this morning, man? How's everybody doing this morning? Let's get that volume. Let's get that volume. Let's get that volume right. How's everybody doing this morning? Double tap, hit the like button. Come on in, man. Come on in, man. Perfect Time Podcast. We're going to talk about this Maduro situation. You see the thumbnail. You see the thumbnail. You see what it is. Double tap, hit the like button, man. Double tap. What's up, everybody? Mega Monday. Trump news. Giving Democrats the boo-hoo blues. Giving Democrats the boo-hoo blues. You know what it is. It's your guy, the black guy with the tight eye every morning at the same time. Back in the building for 2026. And Trump is getting it done. Another Mega Monday. Let's start off with Mega in the chat. Thank you. Welcome to the live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by community guidelines. Everybody, once again, thank you. Welcome to the live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by community guidelines. Brand new setup for 2026. Tell me how you like it. Tell you how you like me now for 2026. Tell me how you like me now for 2026 in the mix. Double tap at the like button. Perfect Time Podcast with the blast. Let's go, Maduro, Trump. Let's go, Mega Monday. Where my MAGA nights at? Mega Monday in the building. Where my MAGA nights at? Let's get it going early, get it going fast. Double tap, hit the like button. Most based podcast, most hype podcast, geopolitical podcast in the land. Nobody else is putting it down like this. Double tap, hit the like button. Make sure everybody knows and understands throughout the land what the plan is. Perfect Time Podcast with the Trump news. I don't know what's going on this morning. But we're going to get this done, man. We're going to get this done, man. Nothing can stop us. Nothing can stop us now. Did y'all hear Trump talking about Cuba? Trump said Cuba better get in line. I was doing my research this morning and something came up about Cuba. I said, what about Cuba? It said Cuba's not in the talks right now, but Cuba better get in line. Cuba better get in line and stay in line. Somebody put Cuba better stay in line in the chat. I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know what's going on with America. I mean, just 12 months ago, man, the whole entire globe was laughing at us. Just 12 months ago, the entire globe was laughing at us. There was geopolitics debacles everywhere. Israel, Ukraine, Iran, name it. Just name it. A Mexican-American border just 12 months ago. Now we have a secure border. 6 million. I gave the story. Not nobody's talking about. It's so much to talk about today. It's so much to talk. We're going to get into Minneapolis. I don't know where y'all want to go first. Y'all want to go to Minneapolis or Maduro? You want to go to Minneapolis or Maduro? I think I might want to go to Minneapolis because I was right. I was right. Double tap and say perfect timing. You was right. Double tap and say perfect timing. You was right. What was you right about? Perfect timing. The writing on the wall. I was right about the writing on the wall. Let's get that chat up there. The double first in the chat, get shouted out without a doubt. First in the chat, get shouted out without a doubt. Let's get that chat up there, man. I was right, man. Y'all know what I'm saying. I was right. Did y'all relax and talk sports? Relax and talk sports. Dems protesting anything. Check this out, man. Check this out. When I talked to you about MTG, remember when I broke down, no one truly broke down the facts of the matter when it came down to Jasmine Crockett in those 5 seats. I said Jasmine Crockett was fired. Shout out to Trump, the apprentice. I said, Jasmine Crockett was fired. Can you put you're fired in the chat right now? Relax and talk sports. Hashtag you're fired in the chat right now. Hashtag you're fired in the chat right now. You know what I'm saying? Hashtag you're fired in the chat. So Jasmine Crockett cannot run for District 33 in South Dallas anymore. She was fired. Those 5 seats affected Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett's Congress seat got folded, enveloped in by another MAGA district, a MAGA red district. She can't beat the red incumbent, so she's going to run for Senate. Surprise, Jasmine Crockett. Texas has never sent a Senate. Texas has not sent a Democrat to the Senate in over 30 years. So Jasmine Crockett is effectively fired. You just don't know it yet. I knew this. So what I did is I told everybody, see, they don't understand the writing on the wall. You're fired. Thank you. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Jasmine Crockett. See, they don't understand the writing on the wall. I said, blue wave where? I said, blue wave, there is no blue wave. I said, blue wave where? There is no blue wave when you look at what the writing on. Fannie Willis talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene quit. Jasmine Crockett can't run for Congress. AOC primary and Chuck Schumer. Hakeem Jeffries is a fail in the Congress. The Affordable Care Act expired on December 31st. I got videos of people crying right now that their Medicare has gone up. Food stamps being subsidized, being cut right now. You can't buy soda. What I said is that there is no blue wave. What I said is they don't understand the writing on the wall. I said Nancy Pelosi. Remember I educated you on Nancy Pelosi? Who educated you on Nancy Pelosi? Who educated you on that? Nancy Pelosi, $400 million richer after being in the Congress. Nancy Pelosi was not worth $400 million. Do you know Trump said Trump said we should investigate Nancy Pelosi and her husband because they beat the S&P 500. 15%. They beat the S&P. Nancy Pelosi is a better investor than the computer. Nancy Pelosi and her husband has better returns than scientists, than professors, right? But she can't figure out the damn minimum wage. Come on now. But Nancy Pelosi is retiring. Nancy Pelosi is retiring. I said, read the writing on the wall. But everybody is saying blue wave 2026. There is no blue wave in 2026. The Democrats lose badly in 2026. What did I say? I said, okay, the congressional math. Relax and Talk Sports. He watches my channel. Shout out to you, Relax and Talk Sports. Double tap at the like button. Anybody who ever watched the channel, understands what we're talking about right now. Anybody who ever watched the channel understands what we're talking about right now. What is we talking about right now? Nancy Pelosi, $400 million richer. She's retiring. I'm going to Minnesota. Have you heard the latest news in Minnesota? Does anybody know who Nick Shirley is? I presented to you first. Before Nick Shirley, I think we did about, I'm happy for Nick Shirley. Double tap, hit the support to Nick Shirley. Go subscribe, watch the video, 42 minutes. But I was on top of the Somali fraud well before Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley really hasn't presented what we presented here about the Somalians when they went to Europe and did the same exact fraud. That would bolster Nick Shirley's argument. But as content creators, we could do better with sharing. But I'm happy for Nick Shirley's success. Shout out to Nick Shirley. Double tap, hit the like button. All facts, no feelings over here. No feelings, man. So Minneapolis, Minnesota, Nick Shirley uncovers. He probably heard, he heard the rumbles. He heard the rumbles on the YouTube. Double tap, hit the like button, part-time podcast at the blast. Nick Shirley heard the rumbles on YouTube, right? What we was talking about, uncovering the $1 billion fraud. I told you about a Somalian mayor, right? Isn't it funny how we're learning now that Somalians are Islamic and Arab? They don't really believe in females driving and females being leaders. I said it was a grift from the beginning when we had all these female Somalian politicians who've been married multiple times. Ilhan Omar is now worth $30 million. Nancy Pelosi worth $400 million. This is what it means to be a Democratic congresswoman. You get to be a multimillionaire overnight. You get to have 4 different husbands. You get to marry your brother. What did I bring out about Minneapolis, Minnesota? I said, did you guys know that there was a Somalian female mayor who told police not to listen to ICE in the Twin Cities? You saw the white boy talking in Somalese, but did you know there was a Somalian female mayor in the Twin Cities who had told police chief to stand down and not listen to ICE orders? Now listen to this math. We're talking about the congressional math. Who knows the congressional math right now? It is 219 to 213. Who is in the majority? The Republicans are in the majority. For there to be a blue wave, the Democrats need to pick up at least 20 seats, right? Does anybody see the Democrats picking up 20 seats in 2026? What I've always asked is, who are these 20 superstars who are not only going to win, but beat Republicans in this climate? No one said anything. Let's get back to the facts. Let's get back to the facts. So we got Democrats falling like flies. I said in 2025, no one is reading the writing on the wall. So you have a Somalian mayor You have a Somalian supervisor. You have a Somalian congresswoman in Ilhan Omar. You know what Nick Shirley and other people didn't bring out? There is a Somalian female senator, all in Minneapolis. I did the research. My audience knows about this. There is a Somalian female senator. If you want to know how this fraud took place and how deep the deep state corruption goes, you have a Somalian senator. You have a Somalian congresswoman. You have a Somalian mayor, and then you have Somalian supervisors all over this district where the billions of dollars came from. Now, what is the latest news in Minneapolis? What is the latest news in Minneapolis? Well, more writing on the wall for 2026. More writing on the wall for 2026. So Nancy Pelosi is retiring. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree that Nancy Pelosi should retire. Put a 1 in the chat right now if you think Nancy Pelosi should retire. Nancy Pelosi's not running again. I don't know who's going to run in her place. I think her daughter. Is this a dynasty? Is this a royal party? Is the Democrats a royal party? Is Nancy Pelosi royalty? Does her daughter get to be queen next and make $400 million? Nancy Pelosi is retiring. Jasmine Crockett cannot run. AOC will probably primary Chuck Schumer. And what is the latest news from Minneapolis after the independent media has uncovered $1 billion of fraud in Minnesota? What is the news in Minneapolis? I got the news. What is the news in Minneapolis? What? Does anybody know the latest news in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the writing on the wall? Because I've been talking about a great loss in 2026. Has anybody heard what's happening in Minneapolis, Minnesota when it comes to the leadership? Does anybody know? I know who's dropping out, who's not going to run again, who announced that they're not running again. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz won't run for third term amid fraud allegations. Now, Kamala Harris came out and said she's running again. Who Kamala Harris gonna run with? Does anybody know who gonna be our running mate, Kamala Harris? Because your 2028 campaign just exploded. I said your 2028 campaign just exploded. Now you gotta start all over. Kamala, you never had a vote. You never won a primary. Nobody wanted you, but now you gotta start from the beginning and find a brand new vice president. Who? Pete Buttigieg? Why are you gonna pick him? Just because he's gay? What type of experience? What type of policy? Can you tell us anything? Who's gonna be your running mate? Kamala Harris is done. 2026 is done. 2028 is done. And it's not Trump. The Democrats did it to themselves. The Democrats did it to themselves. Can we say the Democrats did it to themselves? The Democrats did it to themselves. I can't make this up. Tim Walz just bowed out. So, did you know, if you watch my channel, double tap at the like button, hit the like button, like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to ask a huge favor right now. We're going to take a little slow down. We're going to ask a huge favor. Everybody watching right now, I'm going to ask you to do me a huge favor and hit the like button. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Perfect. This is the Perfect Timing Podcast. Kamala Harris just announced that she's going to run for president. Everybody said Kamala Harris maybe shouldn't run for president in 2028. What now? We got to hear it now from Kamala Harris. This is brand new news. This is brand new breaking news. You haven't heard this anywhere else. I'm going to read it to you. Tim Walz just bowed out. Kamala Harris has to find a brand new running mate, but Kamala Harris has to find votes. Kamala Harris needs constituency. Does anybody know the definition? Somebody that loves my channel, define constituency in the chat right now. Go to your Apple iWatch, go to your Apple iPhone, and put the definition of constituency in the chat, because Kamala Harris doesn't have it. Kamala Harris doesn't have it. Kamala Harris doesn't have it. Let's go to the report. Y'all want to go to the report? Because I said, read the writing on the wall. I said, read the writing on the wall. I said, the Democrats don't have 20 seats. Right now, congressional math. Can somebody put congressional math in the chat? Can somebody put congressional math in the chat? It is 219 Republicans to 213 Democrats. Hakeem Jeffries is the minority leader. Mike Johnson is the majority leader. Tell me how the Democrats flipped the House. I just want to know the names, because right now it's 2026. It's a midterm right now. It's the election year. If the Democrats are going to flip the House, who? Because Jasmine Crockett is going to the Senate. Jasmine Crockett is going to the Senate, right? AOC is going to the Senate. Who's going to flip the House? Ilhan Omar, just like Minnesota, Tim Walz, will not be able to run again. Are we voting for Omar? Are we voting for Omar? Right now in the chat, are we voting for Omar? We're not voting for Ilhan Omar. We're not voting for Ilhan Omar. We're not. So how do you take the House? For those of us who understand real politics, if you listen to some of the news and political channels on YouTube, you won't hear a lot of the conversation that we're talking about right now. A lot of people be grift. They want views and clicks, and they want the likes, and they want the money, and they want the celebrity. But I am talking about educating the electorate. I am talking about real on-the-ground politics for 2026. This is not conjecture. Where will the Democrats get the numbers to flip the House? Number one, have you heard on independent media or YouTube anyone talking about the Democrats having the ability to flip the House? Typically, Donald Trump is a second-term president. Typically, second-term president means lame duck. Typically, the Democrats would flip the House and gain a lot of seats. I don't see that happening. Actually, I see Democrats retiring, running for the hills. Who sees the same thing? If there's going to be a blue wave, Nancy Pelosi wouldn't retire. If there was going to be a blue wave, Jasmine Crockett wouldn't be heading for the Senate. If there was going to be a blue wave, AOC wouldn't be heading for the Senate. Where are the numbers to flip the Senate? This is not conjecture. This is not player hating. This is real politics. I'm talking about congressional math and flipping the House. You guys, if you watch politics every Sunday morning, just yesterday, you should know what I mean when I say flipping the House and congressional math. And now I'm asking my blue brothers out there, what are the numbers? How do you flip the House? Who's going to flip the House when your favorite celebrity Democrats are leaving? Your favorite celebrity Democrats are leaving the House. They want to be in the Senate. So what are the numbers? Who are the people who you have to flip the congressional math? Everybody who watches my channel, please write this down for the Democrats. The Democrats need some education this morning. Write these terms down for our favorite Democrats. Flipping the House, right? Congressional math, right? Write this down for your favorite Democrat at your next dinner party. At your next dinner party, when the debate goes down over pass me the biscuits. Can you pass me the excuse me, Mrs. Johnson? Excuse me, Miss Johnson. Can you please pass me the biscuits? And can you tell me why you're passing me the biscuits? How the Dems are going to flip the House? Please, while you pass me the biscuits, tell me who is the Democratic stars, because the congressional math has the Republicans 219 to 213, and you're losing Jasmine. You're losing AOC. You're going to lose Omar too, because you just lost Tim Walz. So tell me, how do you flip the House, Mrs. Johnson? And can I get some more gravy? Because these potatoes is bomb. Can I get some more gravy? Because these potatoes is bomb. That's what I'm talking about. Mega Monday. Double tap, hit the like button. I'm going to ask a huge favor right now. I'm going to ask a huge favor. Everybody watching right now, if you're being entertained, if you're learning anything, do us a huge favor. This is the perfect time in podcast. I would love it if you would like the video. It would be awesome if you subscribe to the channel. We do this every morning. We have these discussions. The chat room is the best chat on YouTube. Can I get a W chat? Can I get a W chat? It's the best chat room on YouTube. I would love for you to watch and join and subscribe to the channel. Right now, we're talking about the non-existent blue wave in 2026 and Tim Walz, ex-vice presidential nominee, dropping out of running in Minnesota. And I am saying to my audience, if Tim Walz is no longer governor of Minnesota, what is Kamala Harris going to do? Because Kamala Harris just announced that she would run for president again. Kamala Harris just announced that she would run for president again. And if she doesn't have a vice president, she doesn't have constituency. Did we get the definition of constituency? Did we get the definition of constituency in the chat? Huh? Did we get the definition? She doesn't have constituency. She didn't go to the convention. She never got a vote. So what do we do now, DNC? You don't have Jeffrey Epstein's money. Shout out to Stacey Plaskett. Can we get a shout out to Stacey Plaskett? Stacey Plaskett, who was on the phone with Jeffrey Epstein in 2019. Stacey Plaskett, who just took money from Jeffrey Epstein in 2019. Shout out to Hakeem Jeffries. Shout out to Hakeem Jeffries, who invited Jeffrey Epstein to dinner and tried to get him to go to dinner with Barack Obama. So you don't have Jeffrey Epstein's money anymore, Democrats. What are you really going to do in 2026? What are you going to do? Let's read the story right here. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz won't run for third term amid fraud scandal. Walz announced Monday he will focus on governing through scandals involving up to $9 billion Say it with me, chat. $9 billion potentially lost in programs like child nutrition, Medicaid housing, and child care since 2018, with 92 federal charges and 62 convictions. This is not conjecture, ladies and gentlemen. 92 charges and 62 convictions. 92. So I'm not talking about speculation. I'm not talking about daycare centers. I'm talking about the facts on the ground. Tim Walz is bowing out. Kamala Harris has just been crippled. Can we just be honest? I don't care if you don't like me, but these are the facts you're going to have to grapple. You're going to have to grapple with the fact that Tim Walz just bowed out and Kamala Harris has to find a brand new vice president. If she doesn't really truly have a viable candidacy. She never did. Kamala Harris never had a chance in 2028. Let's just be honest. She never really had a chance. We want Kamala Harris. I am rooting that I hope the DNC picks Kamala Harris again because she has no chance. But now that Tim Walz has been sandbagged with this billion-dollar Somali fraud, what is Kamala going to do now? What is Kamala? Because the first question, and it's a legitimate question, Kamala Harris, who will you pick for your new vice president? Oh, Tim Walz. Is she going to do the same thing she did with Biden? Is she going to do the same? Because that's a dead victory. That's a victory for MAGA. If Kamala Harris cannot separate herself from Tim Walz, she did not separate herself from Biden, the Democrats go down in flames again. The Democrats go down in flames again. Kamala Harris should be online right now. Kamala Harris should be online right now on my podcast saying, perfect, I am distancing myself from Tim Walz. Where is she at? Democrats, you have no chance. Democrats, and it's not anyone's fault but your own. The Democrats, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Kamala Harris should be on television right now saying to the American people, I need to distance myself from Tim Walz. I made a mistake. She put it in her book, 107 Days. She said, I was hypnotized. Did anybody read the book? Does anybody read? Kamala Harris wrote a book. It's called 107 Days. In the book, she said she was hypnotized by Joe Biden, and she said the DNC was hypnotized by Joe Biden because she should have told Joe Biden not to run. She should have distanced herself from Joe Biden, but she didn't, and she admits in her book, 107 Days, that she was hypnotized. She said she was hypnotized. She said the Democratic Party was hypnotized. I tell you now today, will she be smart enough to distance herself from Tim Walz? No. I know you're having fun in the chat because you think nobody's going to block you, but I'm paying attention, and there are rules to the podcast, and there are rules to the podcast, and there are rules to YouTube, right? There are rules to the podcast, and so please follow the community guidelines. Thank you, everybody. Let's get back to the story. Walz announced Monday, today, this is brand new, he will focus on governing through scandals. Let's say it again. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz won't run for third term amid fraud scandal. Walz announced Monday, today, he will focus on governing through the scandals involving up to $9 billion potentially lost in programs like child nutrition, Medicaid housing, and child care. Since 2018, with 92 federal charges and 62 convictions, a December 26 video by YouTuber Nick Shirley exposed empty child care centers claiming federal funds, leading into a $185 million freeze and inspections. I announced that last week that Donald Trump has freezed all federal money going to Minnesota. Donald Trump has frozen all federal money going to Minnesota. He blamed Washington political leaders for blocking situations while detailing his administration's fixes, like new safeguards and a program integrity head hired in December. Wait a minute. He said he's going to get new safeguards, so he's admitting there were no safeguards. That's why you can't run for vice president. That's why you can't be governor, because you made a mistake. You left these loopholes. I argue that the Republican MAGA caucus argues that Ilhan Omar created the loopholes. Our argument is when Ilhan Omar put forth the policy, Ilhan Omar created the pathway and created the loopholes that now Tim Walz has to close up. Is that not what happened? Is that not what happened, right? Is that not what happened, right? Right? Is that not what happened? Let's continue to read. Let's continue. Let me read that again. He says he blamed Washington political leaders. Well, does that, if Tim Walz blames Washington, is he blaming Biden? Because Trump was not in the office when you administered these programs. When you and Omar took these billions back in 2018, President Trump was not the president, right? So tell me, when you say you blame Washington, you're saying it was the Democrats' fault? Tim Walz, are you saying it was Biden and Kamala? Is that what you're saying, right? You blame Washington. So just say you blame Biden and Kamala, Tim Walz. I'm going to read it again. He blamed Washington political leaders for blocking solutions while detailing his administrator's fixes. His major fix is brand new safeguards that he must admit that didn't exist before, and program integrity head. So there was no integrity. There was no integrity and there were no safeguards, according to Tim Walz, because he just put in brand new safeguards and he just hired integrity officers in December. They never existed before. Okay, just to let you know, he brought brand new safeguards. He has a program integrity head that he hired in December. The decision opens a competitive 2026 race with Democrats like Amy Kubler and Republicans eyeing chances. Right? Let's read from Donald Trump. Let's read from Donald Trump. Let's read what Donald Trump said. Let's read what Donald Trump said on True Social. Let's read what Donald Trump said on True Social. I'm bringing it up now. Tell me, okay, let me see if I can get a better picture for y'all. All right. All right. Minnesota corrupt governor will possibly leave office before his term is up. Who else is leaving? Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene left with a whole year left on office. Okay, Minnesota, Nancy Pelosi is leaving also. Minnesota corrupt governor will possibly leave office before his term is up. But in any event, we will not be right. But any event will not be running again because he was caught red-handed along with Ilhan Omar and others of his Somali friends, stealing tens of billions of taxpayer dollars. I feel certain the facts will come out and they will reveal a seriously unscrupulous and rich group of slime balls. Governor Walz has destroyed the state of Minnesota, but others like Governor Gavin Newsom, J.B. Pritzker, and Kathy Hochul have done, in my opinion, an even more dishonest and incompetent job. No one is above the law. Double tap at the like button. Mega Monday. Mega Monday. Double tap at the like button. Donald Trump, lay it down. The smackdown. All the way. The smackdown town. Trumpify. That's what it is, baby. And I got some more. What else we got? I think we got video. I think we got actual video of the Tim Walz. Minnesota has to come first always. Today, I'm proud of the work we have done in Minnesota. The best place to live and raise kids. I've decided to step out of the race. Say it again, Tim Walz, ladies and gentlemen. From the desk of Tim Walz, is y'all with me? Hit the like button, baby. Hit the like button, baby. We didn't do it to you, Tim. We didn't do it to you, Tim. You did it to yourself, baby. Come on, man. The trolls is going crazy, man. Everybody hit the like button, man. Hit the like. I hope y'all having fun out there, man. I hope y'all having fun out there, man. Hit the like button, man. I hope y'all having fun out there. Have some fun out there on me, baby. Let's read it. This is from the desk of Tim Walz. Minnesota has to come first always. Today, I'm proud of the work we've done to make Minnesota the best place to live and raise kids. I have decided to step out of the race and let others worry about the election while I focus on the work. just to let you know, this is not conjecture. These are the facts on the ground. Tim Walz just said he has decided to step out of the race. That's what he said. He has decided to step out of the race. And I am the first person to let the party people know about it right now. Tim Walz stepping down. Tim Walz stepping down. Tim Walz stepping. What else we got? Tim Walz stepped down. Nancy Pelosi not running. There is no blue wave. There is no blue wave. There is no blue wave. Everybody, there is no blue wave. The Democrats have nowhere to go, nowhere to run to, baby, nowhere to hide, nowhere to run to, baby, and nowhere to hide. That's right, baby. Double tap at the like button. You watching the #1 podcast in the land. Y'all watching the #1 podcast in the land. #1 chat. Can I get a W chat? Can I get a W chat? We ain't even got started yet. Can I get a W chat? Can I get a W chat? Come on, man. Come on, man. Hey, AI. I don't know what's going on with you, but I am doing my thing without you. Huh? I know I'm already logged in. Hey, everybody in the chat, are you logged in, baby? Are you logged in, baby? I know I'm already logged in. Huh? Double tap at the like button. Double tap at the like button. Governor Tim Walz has bowed out. Governor Tim Walz has bowed out. I think I got video. Do we got video? Do we got video of Tim Walz bowing out? Do we have video of Tim Walz bowing out? This is Tim Walz. This is probably, let's show some video. This is why Tim Walz is not running again. This is why Tim Walz is not running again. But I had some video of Tim Walz announcement. I got some video of the Tim Walz announcement. Won't run again. Let's see if we can find a video. Double tap at the like button. I need Tim. Nick Shirley said I need it. I ended Tim Walz. Nick Shirley said, I don't know. Nick Shirley's kind of young. You know, we already have been presenting this. And I said not only Tim Walz, but Ilhan Omar. I said Ilhan Omar also, I don't believe she'll win again. What's up, BJ? What's up with your BJ? What's up with your BJ? What's up with my chat, W chat? What's up with my chat?
Demonizing our Somali neighbors and wrongfully confiscating funds that Minnesota.
Let's listen to Tim Walz bow out. The writing is on the wall for 2026. 2026, MAGA in the mix. 2026, MAGA in the mix. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen.
We've got conspiracy theorist right-wing YouTubers breaking into our daycares, demanding access to our children. We've got the President of the United States demonizing our Somali neighbors and wrongfully confiscating funds that Minnesotans rely on. It's disgusting and it's dangerous. We've got conspiracy theorist right-wing YouTubers breaking into our daycares, demanding access to our children. We've got the President of the United States demonizing our Somali neighbors and wrongfully confiscating funds that Minnesotans rely on. It's disgusting and it's dangerous. We've got conspiracy theorist right-wing YouTubers breaking into our daycares, demanding access to our children.
Your children. Is that what it is? I don't know, man. He said demanding access to our children. Breaking into daycare centers, nobody. Tim Walz has dropped out. The 2026 Minnesota governor amid multi-billion-dollar scandal. Okay, is this the one? Okay, well let's go then. Let's go then.
Political news out of St. Paul, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Tim Walz will not seek re-election as governor, and what a fall from grace this has been for him. You might recall in the spring of 2023, he pushed through several progressive ideas to the state legislature that caught the attention of Barack Obama, who went to Twitter to give his endorsement for the programs, which eventually caught the attention of people like Kamala Harris, who chose him to be her running mate as the vice president. Introduced in Chicago at the convention in August of last year, a debate that was an absolute disaster with J.D. Vance at one point called himself a knucklehead. But after reportedly billions of dollars have been stolen from taxpayers by way of the state of Minnesota, Tim Walz says he will not seek a third term.
Whoa, that MAGA! Whoa, that MAGA! Whoa, that MAGA! MAGA Monday! Double tap at the like button. MAGA Monday! Double tap at the like button. Double tap at the like button. Run it back! Run it back! Run it back! There is no blue wave! There is no blue wave! There is no blue wave!
Major breaking political news out of St. Paul, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Tim Walz will not seek re-election as governor, and what a fall from grace this has been for him. You might recall in the spring of 2023, he pushed through several progressive ideas to the state legislature that caught the attention of Barack Obama, who went to Twitter to give his endorsement for the programs, which eventually caught the attention of people like Kamala Harris, who chose him to.
So did you hear that? Did you hear that? He said in 2022, I'm going to play it again. I'm going to play it again. In 2022, Tim Walz created the programs that caught the attention of Barack Obama, and Barack Obama praised him for these programs. Kamala Harris hired him for creating the programs that led to the fraud. Can we also attribute blame to Barack Obama and Kamala Harris? I say yes, we can. I said, can we attribute blame for the Somalian fraud in Minneapolis, Minnesota to Kamala Harris and Barack Obama? I say, can we get in the chat, everybody? All my blue Democrats, can I get it in the chat real loud? Oh, God. Yes, we can. Yes. Dipty-doo, dipty-whoopty-dipty-dipty-doo, dipty-whipty-whipty-doo. Yes, we do. Yes, we can. I love my job. I love my job. You know, more information comes out every day. People wondering if this is fake. No, it's not fake. The fraud is real. And Tim Walz is stepping down because he created the loopholes in 2022. Barack Obama, the DNC, and Kamala Harris. See, this is what you would have got on a national scale. See, Gavin Newsom wants Californication for the nation. Can I get it in the chat? I said Gavin Newsom wants Californication for the nation. And if Tim Walz would have been vice president, you would have had Minnesota for everybody over. You would have had Minnesota for everybody over. You would have had Minnesota for everybody over. And Gavin Newsom wants Californication for the rest of the nation. Do you want your city to look like San Francisco? I just want to know right now, do you want your city to look like Minneapolis? I don't care if you dislike me. I don't care if you dislike Trump. This ain't about politics. Everything ain't about partisan and Republican and Democrat. I just want to ask you a real question, audience. Do you want your city to look like Minneapolis? Do you want your cities to look like South Chicago? Shout out to you, Pritzker. Do you want your city to look like San Francisco? These are real, honest questions in real reality. What about Stockton, California, where there was a mass shooting? I said, what about Stockton, California, where there was a mass shooting and 4 children were murdered, like 16 people in a gang shooting at a children's birthday party? Do you want Stockton in your city? Do you want to live in Stockton? Do you want to live in San Francisco? Democrats? Let's get back to Tim Walz. Let's get back to Tim Walz. If Tim Walz would have won, then he would have brought the policies that are bankrupting Minnesota to the nation. Because Kamala Harris liked those policies. Let me play it again. Kamala Harris liked those policies so much that she hired him as her vice president. Let's listen. I'm not making it up.
Mention of Barack Obama, this has been for him. You might recall in the spring of 2023, he pushed through several progressive ideas to the state legislature that caught the attention of Barack Obama. News out of St. Paul, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Tim Walz will not seek re-election as governor, and what a fall from grace this has been for him. You might recall in the spring of 2023, he pushed through several progressive ideas to the state legislature that caught the attention of Barack Obama, who went to Twitter to give his endorsement for the programs, which eventually caught the attention of people like Kamala Harris, who chose him to be her running mate as the vice president.
So he put forth programs in 2023 that caught the attention of Barack Obama and Kamala Harris. We always wondered, why did she pick Tim Walz? We never knew that there was a welfare plan behind Tim Walz, that Tim Walz would bring these welfare liberal programs to the national level. How did we dodge a bullet? Did we dodge a bullet or did we dodge a bullet? Because we would have had rampant fraud nationwide. We would have had an open border. We would have been in a Cold War with Russia. Because remember, Kamala Harris was at the Munich Security Council saying that Ukraine has a right and a desire to be part of NATO. So if Kamala Harris would have been president, we would be in a conflict with Russia because Kamala Harris believed that Ukraine had a right and a desire to be in NATO. And Putin only had one ask. Ukraine can't be part of NATO. When we talk about the peace talks with Russia and Ukraine, what's the number one bullet point? What's the number one bullet point? What has Trump said? The Ukraine will never be part of NATO. The Ukraine will never be part of NATO. Do you know where we almost were? We almost were in World War III with these clowns. You calling me a clown? These clowns almost ended the damn globe. These clowns almost ended the damn globe. Do your research. Do your politics. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz would have been damnation. Everybody today is all Trump is this and Trump is that. And Tim Walz and Kamala Harris would have been damnation for the globe. Tim Walz and Kamala Harris would have been damnation for the globe. Not just America, but for the globe. They were having you believe there's a such thing as a Cold War. They were having you believe there's a such thing as giving away money without paying for it. You understand what I'm talking about? Let's go back to the video. Let's go back to the video. Tim Walz is out of here. Kamala Harris.
Progressive ideas to the state legislature caught the attention of Barack Obama, who went to Twitter to give his endorsement for the programs, which eventually caught the attention of people like Kamala Harris, who chose him to be her running mate as the vice president. Introduced in Chicago at the convention in August of last year, a debate that was an absolute disaster with J.D. Vance. At one point called himself a knucklehead, but after reportedly billions of dollars have been stolen from taxpayers by way of the state of Minnesota, Tim Walz says he will not seek a third term. What a remarkable 2 years in the national spotlight has been for him, Dana.
And Walz hit Trump in his announcement.
What a remarkable 2 years. What a remarkable 2 years. What a remarkable 2 years. What a remarkable, he was just vice presidential candidate. He was just vice presidential candidate. I'm going to get to Venezuela. W chat. What's up, everybody? Double tap at the like button. Double tap. We just getting started. This is just our first story. You know I'm fired up and ready to go. This is just our first story. 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 We're gonna get to the what about the assassin? Tampon Tim higher. What a shitty 2 years. It's getting clearer and clearer. Folks, just join us. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. It's getting, the writing is on the wall, everybody. The writing is on the wall. Thank you, everybody. W chat. I'm doing my best to keep up. I'm doing my best to keep up with the chat. It's difficult, y'all. It's difficult, man. It's difficult, man. It's difficult. MAGA is winning. Mega MAGA Monday. Double tap at the like button. It's a mega MAGA Monday, y'all. It's a mega MAGA Monday, y'all. That was our first story. Breaking down Tim Walz bowing out. And I just wanted the reason that story was so exciting for me is because I was right. Put I was right in the chat. Put I was right in the chat. Ain't no damn blue wave. I've been saying this for 3 months. I love Nick Shirley, but I've been saying this for 3 months, y'all. I love Nick Shirley, but I've been saying this for 3 months. When MTG quit, when Nancy Pelosi announced that she would not run again in 2026, when Jasmine Crockett learned that her seat was gone, you know what happened? Do you know what happened? Gavin Newsom created a special election, but then they took it to the Supreme Court. No one ever reported on the fact that Governor Abbott, Greg Abbott, won his Supreme Court. Greg Abbott won in Texas, and he was able to legally redistrict 5 seats in Texas. One of those seats was Jasmine Crockett's seat. So you're telling me Gavin Newsom and Democratic billionaire donors spent billions of dollars and shut down the government for 43 days just to save Jasmine Crockett's job? It wasn't just about Jasmine Crockett's job. Now, if I'm being small-minded, I can pick on Jasmine Crockett. The truth is, Gavin Newsom and the DNC understood what this would mean. This is the writing on the wall, and this was 2026. The reason why that special election was so important, the reason why they took the chance of shutting down the government for 43 days is they understood if they lost those 5 seats, there was no way they could win in 2026. The congressional math is this: 219 Republicans to 213 Democrats, but Greg Abbott redistricted 5 seats. The Democrats would need almost 20 seats to flip the House. Not just the 10 to match up, but they would need an additional several seats to flip the House. It's not enough to just get enough numbers to split the House. The Democrats would need to flip the House. That is not going to happen. I've been saying for months that when we had the special election in November 4th, when we were in a shutdown, I was explaining to you, this is about 2026. And when we won, when Chuck Schumer signed the continuing resolution, the same stopgap bill, the same CR that the Senate voted no on 14 times, this is why AOC is going to primary Chuck Schumer. How many channels do you watch that understand these political ins and outs of 2026? How many channels are you watching that are telling you the truth about what's going to happen in the voting booth in 2026? I can promise you some things that are going to happen without any guessing. Tim Walz won't be on the ballot in 2026. I can promise you that. Nancy Pelosi will not be on the ballot in 2026, and Jasmine Crockett will not run for Congress. Do you understand do you see what I'm laying out? I've been laying this out since November. Marjorie Taylor Greene quit. Now the latest is Tim Walz, former vice presidential candidate. And Kamala Harris is supposed to run for president in 2028. But her former vice presidential candidate just bowed out due to Somali billion-dollar fraud. That means if Kamala continues to run, is everybody listening? Because this is not made up. These things I can't make these things up. Nancy Pelosi not running is a fact. Jasmine Crockett not running for Congress is a fact. Tim Walz bowing out is a fact. MTG bowing out. These are all facts, right? This is the writing on the wall. There is no blue wave. So the first question for Kamala, and I don't know, if Kamala runs for president, I wouldn't want to be Kamala. I wouldn't want to be Kamala if she runs for president, because if she runs for president, You're going to have to do podcasts. You didn't do Joe Rogan last time. I think she understands. I hope she understands if you run again, you have to do Joe Rogan. And you're going to get a question about Tim Walz in Minneapolis. You are going to get a question about these welfare programs that you and Barack Obama applauded. You are going to get a question about, did not you, Kamala Harris, applaud Tim Walz for creating the programs that he quit and were defrauding the government for? Did you not applaud him for those same Somali fraud programs? Did you not pick Tim Walz as your vice president? If I am Kamala, I don't run again. Kamala is done in 2028. Imagine debating anyone. Imagine debating J.D. Vance. Imagine Kamala versus J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is from the Midwest. J.D. Vance is going to beat her up on the fact that you chose Tim Walz based on his welfare programs and you want to give away money that America doesn't have. Why did you pick Tim Walz, Kamala Harris, right now? She can't answer it. And if I was Kamala, I wouldn't want to answer it because it's not my fraud. I'm not Tim Walz, but you chose him based on these programs. Politics is dirty. Politics is dirty. I don't see Kamala live. This doesn't just take out. Is this microphone on? Because I don't know if everybody is listening to me because they think I'm yelling and screaming and I'm making this thing up. Kamala's campaign is done. It's not about the fact that she has to pick a new vice president. That's hard enough. It's the fact that she did so poorly in her interviews in her first campaign. It's the fact that she did not go on podcasts. She avoided the pod bros. If she runs again, she has to go on Tim Dillon. She has to go on Joe Rogan. If she goes on the podcast, they're going to ask her about Tim Walz fraud. You have to speak to the Kamala Harris. Listen to everybody listening. She has to speak to Tim Walz fraud, and then she has to speak to why she lost. She has to speak to the book 107 Days and why the Democrats like Gavin Newsom, Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi did not support her in her first run for president. She has to answer all these questions. Do you guys understand Kamala Harris will spend more time answering questions than she will spend campaigning? This is what I want. If the Democrats want Kamala Harris, I see somebody in the chat. Louise says she wants Kamala Harris. Well, guess what? I do too. The Democrats say they still want Kamala Harris. Guess what? We do too. I want Kamala too. I want her to run, please. Please, DNC, run Kamala Harris. Run her again. Run Kamala Harris again. Run Kamala Harris again. Please. Because she's going to spend more time. She's going to spend more time answering to her mistakes and Tim Walz than she will spend campaigning. So you have to think about it, Democrats. Is it about having a black woman president or is it about policy? Shout out to the Young Turks. Shout out to the Young Turks. The decision you guys will have to make as Democrats, is it about a black woman? Is she black? I don't care if she's black. She says she's black. She could be black if she wants to. But is it about her being black or is it about you getting your policy implemented? You know, minimum wage, you know, trade deficit, you know, you guys wanted abortion, you know, tampons in the back. Is it about her being black? Or is it about policy being implemented? There's a decision to make. There's a decision to make, right? She says she's going to run for president again. She says she's going to run for president again. Gavin Newsom can't run for governor again. And I tell you this right now, in case anybody's listening, the next governor of California won't be Democrat. The next governor of California won't be Democrat, right? The next governor of California won't be Democrat. The next governor of California will not be Democrat. We are tired of the Democrats. We are tired, sick and tired of the Democrats. We are sick and tired of the Democrats. Walz re-election bid amid ballooning scandal. Let's go to some more video. Let's go to some more video. This Tim Walz bowing out of the election. Tim Walz bowing out of the election. We're gonna get to Maduro. Double tap at the like button. We're gonna get to Maduro, Venezuela. We're gonna get to Maduro, Venezuela. Let's get to Tim Walz. We got some more video. Tim Walz bound. This is the end of the Democrats. Really, what we're talking about in our leadoff story this morning is the end of the Democrats. Is the end of the Democrats for 2026.
Sure, this kind of fraud doesn't happen, but it's a really stunning development. I think it also tells you, Harris, that
this is the end of the Democrats for 2026. That is what this is right here. That is what this is right here. Another video. Double tap at the like button. I'm asking a huge favor right now. Everybody watching, I'm gonna ask a huge favor. Double tap at the like button right now. Like, share, and subscribe. We got some more video. Tim Walz bowing out. Tim Walz bowing out. There it is. There it is. Let's go to the video.
it's a pretty stunning development. And in fact, I'll be introducing some legislation to make it easier to denaturalize individuals who've committed this kind of fraud in our country. We need to go after this fraud. We need to have more tools to make sure this kind of fraud doesn't happen. But it's a really stunning development. I think it also tells you, Harris, that this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is this Somali-based fraud that had to do with these daycare centers. There's also a bunch of money that went out the door at the end of the Biden administration that had nothing to do with COVID, but it was under the auspices of these COVID funds. I think you're going to see another wave of fraud. So I think that's probably at the heart of why Tim Walz's demise here is headline news. But you know, the other fraud that was perpetrated when he was picked as the running mate, he was supposed to be, you know, Governor Jazz Hands would come out on stage. He wasn't appealing to young men. I mean, this was the best they had to offer to deal with the fact that their party had completely tacked to the left over the last decade. And so Tim Walz is kind of the poster child, I think, for not only how out of touch the Democrats are, but how corrupt they are when they actually govern.
Out of touch and corrupt. Put a 1 in the chat if you think Tim Walz and the Democrats are out of touch and corrupt. Put a 1 in the chat. Hey, I see some people disagreeing with me in the chat, but they disagreeing with me with a respectful basis, man. I really want to say thank you. I never say that people have to come in and agree with me. I just want you to respect the platform and respect the fact that I'm an older gentleman. I have an older audience, so you can disagree. This is the #1 chat for geopolitical debate. No one else is having a conversation like this. I don't believe anyone is presenting the arguments I present. So I want your disagreement because someone in the chat might hear one of your intelligent commentaries and agree with you. There's nothing wrong with the disagreement. What's wrong is the racial bias. What's wrong is when people come in my chat and they see a black face and they assume party loyalty, right? That's racist and ignorant. Oh, he's a black guy. He's a Republican. He must be a sellout. That's racist. I don't know. Do Democrats understand if you see someone black and you expect them to be loyal to a certain party, that is the definition of racist, right? So please disagree all you want. But if you don't know my socioeconomic background, if you don't know what makes up my politics, don't assume based on my skin color, okay? Thank you, everybody, for watching, man. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. MAGA, man. Democrats don't care. I know. Democrats don't care. They just like hating white people, man. It's so easy just to say a white man bad, black man Democrat, and then the computer starts to fart, right? The computer starts to fart. Black man Democrat. My computer can't compute. The black man is a Republican. They start to fart, right? They're having the brain fart. And they see white man, and it's much easier to say, white man evil, boop, 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 white man evil, boop, 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 boop. It's so easy, right? And it's, you know what I call it, chat? You know what I call it, chat? I call it it's lazy intellectually. It's an intellectually lazy person, right? It's a person that suffers from a lazy intellect, that they want to digest the Rachel Maddow propaganda instead of reading and doing the research. It's easier for them. You know, for 6 months, we was in this chat talking about tariffs. Do you know every day people came in here and said tariffs is a tax without any education, without any knowledge? It was so bad in America that the Fed chair had to do a speech. He had to come out. The chairman of the Fed had to come out because it was rampant propaganda that American people did not understand what a tariff was. So he had to explain to them the consumer does not incur tariffs. the tariff is for the company. And you know what I explained to my audience? I said the MAGA dollar is strong. And then you know what? It stopped. Just like Nancy Pelosi bowed out, I said to my audience, I said, if a company says, because in the beginning, companies were raising prices and attributing price raises, and under the price it said tariff increase. And what happened was people stopped spending the money. I told my audience the MAGA dollar is strong. Can I get MAGA dollar in the chat? And I gave my audience examples. I said, if a company says to you that they're going to increase their prices because of Donald tariffs, do not shop with them. And then I gave them examples of Bud Light. Bud Light putting a transgender on a Bud Light can, and MAGA not buying Bud Light. Kid Rock shooting up Bud Light cans, Bud Light losing $100 million. And then Bud Light put 2 country boys. Do you know what happened? Bud Light stopped that campaign and put 2 country boys on the Bud Light, and then Bud Light started to make money again. Cracker Barrel. Go woke and go broke. Can I get go woke and go broke in the chat? Can I get go woke and go broke in the chat? Cracker Barrel went woke and removed the cracker from the barrel. When Cracker Barrel removed the cracker from the barrel, MAGA stopped going to Cracker Barrel. MAGA stopped going to Cracker Barrel. And what did they have to do? Eventually, Cracker Barrel had to put the cracker back to the barrel. Cracker Barrel had to put the cracker back against the barrel. Ain't that what happened, MAGA? Ain't that what happened, MAGA? Ain't that what happened? Whoa, that MAGA! Whoa, that MAGA! I said the MAGA dollar is strong. Target created swimsuits. Target created clothing. Just recently, black women again tried to do a boycott of Target. Didn't work out because, like last time, you kept seeing black women shopping. When MAGA boycotted Target, what happened? The Target CEO got fired. $100 million was lost, and Target got rid of those clothes. Remember the woke swimsuit Target had? Who remembers the woke swimsuit? It's no longer there because the MAGA dollar is strong. This is what America is about. Do you know you vote with your dollar? Do you know you vote with your dollar? Do you know you vote with your dollars? The MAGA dollar is strong. Every time I spend my money, I'm voting. Every time I spend my money, I'm voting. Every time I spend my money, I'm voting. Nah, I ain't buying Bud Light. Nah, I ain't going to Cracker Barrel. The MAGA dollar is strong. And what did Cracker Barrel do? They yielded. Cracker Barrel yielded. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Double tap at the like button. Double tap at the like button. Double tap at the like button. That's our first story. I thought all Cracker Barrel did was change the design of the sign, not a name. It remained Cracker Barrel. I said Cracker Barrel had to put the cracker back next to the barrel. I said Cracker Barrel had to put the cracker back next to the barrel. See, your intellect, this is what I mean by lazy intellectuals. He doesn't really know the story. He doesn't really know the changes that were made to the logo. He just is saying something, and that's why the Democrats are going to lose in 2026, because it's going to take more than that. It's going to take more than lazy intellectuals to flip the house. Can I get hashtag flip the house? Can I get hashtag flip the house? Can I get hashtag flip the house? It's going to take more than jokes and lazy intellectualism to flip the house. Right? You should know the changes that were made. When I say they had to put the cracker back next to the barrel, you are missing the context, and that's what Democrats keep doing. That's what Democrats keep doing, and that's why you will lose in 2026, right? Because you thought that was funny. You thought that was funny. Well, I'm going to laugh all the way to the ballot box. MAGA is laughing all the way to the ballot. Get your Trump hands. Get your Trump. We are laughing all the way to the ballot box, baby. MAGA Monday. Double tap at the like button. Double tap at the like button. We laughing all the way to the ballot box. And Cracker Barrel changed the logo. Target removed those swimsuits, and Bud Light changed their campaign and took away that person off of the Bud Light cans. He had his own, he, she, they had their own soda can. They had their own, all that went away. Bud Light had to refocus and lost hundreds of millions of dollars. These are realities. This is why there is no blue wave in 2026. Oh, let me get some of these clowns out of here. Man, I got it. Hey, who wants to be $200 for a moderator? $200 for a rich? Because I need a moderator, man. I need a moderator. I need a moderator, man. I need a moderator. Double tap at the like button. Where we going next? Where we going next? Where we going next? Maduro. Where we going next? Maduro. I got some Vance. I got some Vance. I got some yeah, let's go to Mark Kelly before we get to Maduro. Let's go to Mark Kelly. Let's go to the Seditious Six. Shout out to the Seditious Six in the building. Let's go to Mark Kelly and the Seditious Six. How y'all doing this morning? Double tap at the like button. Let's go to Mark Kelly and the Seditious Six. Who recalls Mark Kelly? Who remembers? I'll get on my PC right now for $200. Come on, man. Send in that $200, man. Send in that $200. You want a wrench? I need $200 for a wrench, man, because the Democrats be going crazy in my chat. But I thank you guys for coming in. Even if you disagree in the chat, I just ask you to be respect. I just ask you to be respectful. Respect the platform, respect the host, and respect my chat. You know what I'm saying? Mark Kelly, who remembers the Seditious Six? Y'all, so a couple months ago, there was a video of Senate Democrats and Congress. A lot of people missed a lot of the nuances in that video. There were a lot of nuances in that video that weren't picked up by the regular media. Independent media picked them up. One of the nuances of the video was that it was Congress and senators together. Typically, you don't see that. Very rarely do you see that. Mike Hurd, FBA 513 in the building. What's up with your Mike? Anybody grew up with a Mike? Anybody grew up with a Mike, Big Mike, Little Mike? Man, some of our best friends when we was kids, man, was Mike, Little Mike, Big Mike, Black Mike, White Mike. I had a white Mike. Did anybody grow up with a white Mike? It's like having a white mark. We had a black mark, big mark, little mark, and then you have a white mark and a black mark. You got a white mark and a black mark and a white Mike and a black Mike. If you grew up in America, man, I grew up in the Bay Area, Northern California. It's a melting pot. Black, white, purple, green, brown, short, tall, small, fat, skinny, male, female. We had everybody going to school together. We were all friends. Whoa, that MAGA! Whoa, that MAGA! So shout out to your Mike. Shout out to your Mike. I love you, boy. Thank you for supporting the channel, man. Double tap at the like button, man. Double tap. You missed the first story, man. We talking about that lack of a blue wave. We talking about that lack of a blue wave. We talking about that lack of a blue wave. Everybody in the chat, can we get a wave? Can we get a wave? Yeah, Donald Trump is in his second term. Donald Trump, it is my opinion that Donald Trump is the most successful, prolific, and productive second-term president that you have seen in your lifetime. Let's do a comparison. Typically, let's look at George Bush. Let's look at Bill Clinton, and let's look at Obama, who are the most recent presidents who all had second terms. All of them legitimately could call themselves lame ducks, right? We could all of them we can call lame ducks, right? Bill Clinton in his second term was plagued by infidelity, calls for impeachment. Bush in his second term had TARP, Occupy Wall Street, lost all the money and then gave it all back to Wall Street. Barack Obama in his second term was stalled by Senate Democrats Mitch McConnell. The reason why you have a conservative-leaning Supreme Court is because Barack Obama was a lame duck. Barack Obama was a lame duck. Quack! If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, quack, quack, quack. Senate Republicans shut down Barack Obama in his second term. He didn't get shit done. And they did not allow him to get any nominees through the Senate. That's what you call a lame duck. So Bush, Obama, Clinton, All lame ducks. Donald Trump. Bush was a bad president. Let's educate the chat, baby. Let's educate the chat, baby, because I know a lot of this stuff you don't remember, right? A lot of this stuff you don't recall or remember. Some of you are so young, you've never heard the term lame duck. But somebody put the definition in the chat. Lame duck refers to a second-term president who is stifled by Congress and the Senate and can't get any policy or any nominations through. That is Clinton, Bush, and Obama in their second terms. But let's talk about Donald Trump's second term. Do you guys realize this is Donald Trump's second term? You guys want to start from the beginning? The big, beautiful bill, $1 trillion legislation. The big, beautiful bill was submitted January 3rd. You know I've been doing my research. You can't, no one talked about this. You have to read to understand these facts I'm giving you right now. I had to read them. No one ever said this before. I didn't hear anyone say this. I read this. The big, beautiful bill was submitted on January 3rd. He just was sworn in on the 1st. The big, beautiful bill, because it was submitted January 3rd, was signed into law July 4th. Just 6 months into the second term of a lame duck presidency. No other second term president has passed such a large bill in their second term. This is my argument. I'm waiting for someone to tell me, no, you're wrong. Obama did this, Bush did this, Clinton did this, Nixon did this, Carter did this, huh? LBJ did this. Somebody tell me of a second-term president that passed such huge legislation. Can anybody tell me? Can anybody tell me? My argument is that Donald Trump, and this bodes for the 2026 and 2028 election. Do you understand? It matters how well Donald Trump performs during his term for the Republicans in 2026 midterms. In the 2026 midterms, Republicans can run on tariffs. You know, tariffs gave $12 billion to farmers. Tariffs just paid out $1776 to armed services. Tariffs paid for WIC during the shutdown. Tariffs are paying down the deficit. Tariffs may give you a $2,000 stimulus check in 2026. Imagine if the Republicans send out a $2,000 stimulus check right before the midterms. I said, imagine if Trump and the Republicans send out a $2,000 stimulus check paid for by Donald Trump tariffs right before the midterms. What do the Democrats have? What do the Democrats have? I said Donald Trump is the most productive, the most successful, the most prolific second-term president that I've ever seen in my lifetime. Shout out to Mike Hurd. The gas, that goes to 2026 and 2028. $2 for gas today in Ohio. $2 for gas. Do you know that's a rebate? That's a rebate. Mike, how much was gas last year this time? It was about double. He paid probably $4 a gallon last year. That's an extra $50 in your pocket every week. That's an extra $50 in your pocket every week. That's a rebate. This matters in the voting booth. Whether or not I'm black, whether or not I yell, it doesn't matter in the voting booth. It doesn't matter in the ballot box. Middle America got $12 billion from Trump's tariffs. The farmers in Middle America, Ohio, Kansas, Indiana, corn, Huskies, the Huskies, they just got $12 billion in relief from Donald Trump. How you think they're going to vote in Middle America? How you think they're going to vote? How you think they're going to vote? Shout out to Mike Hurd. Shout out to Mike in the building. Shout out to Mike for that $2 super chat. Shout out to Mike for that $2 super chat. Cracker Barrel is nasty. Cracker Barrel is not good. I tried to like it. Cracker Barrel is not good. I tried. I ordered a bunch of stuff. It is not good. It does not taste good. See, you could disagree with me. We could disagree. We could have fun, bro. Cracker Barrel is not good. I'm not a Democrat. You know, if I was a Democrat, I would say, yes, it is. Yes, knowing that Cracker Barrel tastes like shitballs. Cracker Barrel is not good. You know, somebody said something one day about they have crispy edges on the pancakes. I'm like, is that the only thing on the menu that's good is the crispy edges on the pancakes? Because everything else is shitballs. But yeah, man. I could be honest. I could be honest. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not gonna lie and say I like to eat. Look at me. I like food. I like to eat. Hungry. But Cracker Barrel, you know I know about some food. Cracker Barrel is not good, bro. It's not good, but I still love it. You know what I'm saying? I still love it. All right, you guys. Mark Kelly, and this is 6, man. So a couple months ago, there was a video. Cali is trash. Then don't vote for Gavin Newsom, man. Cracker Barrel got the best liver in. You go to a restaurant and order liver and onions. That's something your mama used to make you eat because liver is good for you. I remember crying. I grew up in the 70s, man. You know, I remember liver being on my plate and me not eating it and crying and my mama whooping me, making me eat it. Like, you can't get up from the table. You can't have no Kool-Aid until you eat your dinner. Liver and onions. Oh, man. And y'all troll Dirty Money. Troll him. He said he actually pays someone else to cook liver and onions for him. Number one, if you're going to eat liver and onions, you got to cook it yourself. I'm not going to, because it's a unique, what is it? Organ? I'm saying Oregon. It's an organ. So you got to cook those a certain way, man. I hated liver and onions till I smoked. He was smoking some GMO. Man. GMO, man. So you know what GMO is? Garlic, mushroom, and onion. That's one of my favorite strains. So I relate to the liver and onions. Let's get into it, man. So Mark Kelly was part of this. This is 6. A couple months ago, 6 Senate Democrats and senators and Congress people made a video telling the military that they did not have to follow orders, right? I was very upset by this because I felt like it was an insult to some of the most highly trained individuals on the planet, right? Like, and then after there was such a big pushback, all the Democrats came out and said, oh, he just said what was already true. And we're not denying that he said what was already true, but if you guys know they already knew it, why did you need to repeat it? So I gave this analogy, and I think this is what got Mark Kelly in trouble. If you're watching me, I promise you watching the most pivotal podcast on YouTube. I gave this example. I said, we're all Americans, right? I know what he said, homie. Just listen. I know, and I'm not going to block you. Just listen. I said, and listen, Clifton, I want you to listen and answer the question, Clifton. If you ever had a job in your life, I want you to answer the question because I gave this analogy. I think this is what got Mark Kelly in trouble. No, he's not. No, he's not. And I'm going to read it, Clifton. Matter of fact, Clifton, you just got to go because some people, it's like they premature ejaculate. The Democratic troll, premature ejaculation. I said you could stay. I said you could make your. He couldn't stay. He couldn't stay. He couldn't. Premature ejaculation, man. And I'm the one that they call the INCEL. They call me an INCEL, but you can't even hold it. Premature ejaculation. Oh shit. So Mark Kelly, man. What was I to Mark Kelly? Y'all gotta be distracted, man. Acting a damn fool in the chat, man. So a couple months ago, they made it. Okay, so this was the analogy I said. If you at work, imagine you're at work and you have a technical job. A lot of people, I had my brother was what's the word they call environmental services. I worked at Kaiser. My brother worked at Kaiser. He was environmental services, or what you may call a custodian or a janitor. You know, a lot of people might think that's a lowly position, but my brother had told me working as a janitor in a hospital, which is why they call it environmental services, is very complicated. A lot of people got fired because it's complex how you clean an OR, the chemicals, how you mix the chemicals, the equipment. And my brother did good at the job of environmental services because he took it seriously. Of how you combine clean chemicals and making sure a floor, even though it looks clean, it may not be clean if you didn't use the proper chemicals. That matters in labs and ORs, right? So imagine this. Imagine being technically proficient. Imagine being a technically proficient professional at work. And then someone comes into your job and attempts to tell you how to do your job. They don't have your job. They don't have the training you have, and they've never done the job. Listen to what I'm saying. Imagine you being a technically proficient, highly trained professional at work in a jabroni. Just an everyday jabroni comes in off the street, walks into your establishment, and attempts to reiterate your training to you as if he's your supervisor and a co-worker or knows what the fuck he's talking about. How would you react? I wanted to ask Clifton, but I had to block his ass, block his ass, block his ass, block his ass. But so I'm asking the rest of the people in the chat, how would you react? How would you react? You're highly trained. You're a professional. This person doesn't know your name. They don't know what your rank is. They don't know how long you've been doing this. They don't know the level of training. But they've heard something on the news, right? They maybe don't like the company you work for. So they don't like Kaiser. So they coming into your job to a hospital and they see you mopping the floor and they attempt to reiterate to you standard operating procedures. How would you take that? How would you feel with someone who doesn't know how to do this complicated, technical, professional job tries to tell you something you already know? Do you understand? That was my analogy. This is what happened. This is what made me upset with the Seditious Six. The Democrats wanted to make excuses for the Seditious Six. So I gave them an analogy and everybody shut up. I gave them that analogy and everybody shut up. Because nobody wants to hear some jabroni tell them how to do their job. Nobody wants to listen to a jabroni tell them how to do their job. And that's what the Seditious Six did. Now, let's go to the outcome, right? Because I read the video, we watched the video, then I announced that the Pentagon was actually doing a real investigation. Remember we talked about Ilhan Omar marrying her brother? And they said that was red pill MAGA speak, right? No, there's a homeland investigation. Put it in the chat. There's a homeland investigation into whether or not Ilhan Omar married her brother so that he could be a United States citizen. That's no longer just MAGA red meat. That's a real investigation. So I came back on the Seditious Six and I said, the Pentagon is doing a legitimate investigation. There's no longer MAGA red meat. The Pentagon is doing a legitimate investigation into whether Mark Kelly was actually seditious and what will be his punishment. Yeah, what will be his punishment? Let's read it. Pentagon targets Senator Mark Kelly's Navy rank over critical statements. I wanted the trolls to stay. I wanted them to stay so I could hear what's actually going to happen because they're disputing it. I'm not making it up. This is the facts. Pentagon targets Senator Mark Kelly's naval rank over critical statements. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth launched proceedings Monday against Kelly. Department of War, Pete Heggie, baby, launched proceedings against Kelly, and he told you it was coming, citing his June to December 2025 comments, including a November video urging troops to refuse illegal orders during Operation Southern Spear in the Caribbean. As violations of military justice codes, the action could downgrade Kelly's retirement rate and pension under a specific U.S. code with the letter of censure already in his file. He has 30 days to respond before a 45-day review concludes. Kelly pushed back on X, highlighting his 39 combat missions and the First Amendment rights while framing it as a warning to all retired service members. The dispute has divided along partisan lines amid Trump second-term concern. Put a 1 in the chat if you with Pete Hegseth. Put a 1 in the chat if you are with Pete Hegseth and I tell you, boy. Put a 1 in the chat if you are with Pete Hegseth and Pete Hegseth's going after Mark Kelly. And I'm going to read what from the desk of Pete Hegseth. I'm going to read from the desk of Pete Hegseth right now. And let's make sure we got some tools. I see some tools. Everybody not with Pete. Everybody not with Pete. We got some tools. Everybody not with Pete. Okay. We got some tools. Everybody not with Pete. That's all right. That's all right. How's that? There it is. There it is. Is that it? I don't know if I like that one. I don't like that one neither. I like that one. I like that one. Y'all like that one? I like that one. Let's read. 6 weeks ago, Senator Mark Kelly and 5 other members of Congress released a reckless and seditious video that was clearly intended to undermine good order and military discipline. As a retired Navy captain who is still receiving a military pension, Captain Kelly knows he is still accountable to military justice. And the Department of War and the American people expect justice. Let's go, Pete Hagee, baby. Therefore, in response to Senator Mark Kelly's seditious statements and his pattern of reckless misconduct, the Department of War, this is from the desk of Pete Hegseth, the Department of War is taking administrative action against Captain Mark E. Kelly, right, retired. The department has initiated retirement grade determination proceedings under Section 10 with reduction in his retired grade, resulting in a corresponding reduction in retired pay. To ensure this action, the Secretary of War, Pete Hagee, baby, has also issued a formal letter of censure, which outlines the totality of Captain, for now, Kelly's reckless misconduct. This censure is the necessary process step and will be placed in Captain Kelly's official permanent military personnel file. Captain Kelly has been provided notice of the basis for this action and has 30 days to submit a response. The retirement grade determination process directed by Secretary Hegseth will be completed within 45 days. Captain Kelly's status as sitting United States Senator does not exempt him from accountability, and further violations could result in further action. These actions are based on Captain Kelly's public statements from June through December 2025, in which he characterized lawful military operations as illegal and counseled members of the armed forces to refuse lawful orders. This conduct was seditious. This conduct was seditious. This conduct was seditious in nature and violated Articles 133 and 134 of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, to which Captain Kelly remains subject to as a retired officer receiving pay. As a retired officer receiving pay. That's your boy from the desk of the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. From the desk of the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. He said it 3 times, so it's true. It's phonetically sound. It's phonetically sound. From the desk of Pete Hegseth. Department of War, Pete Hegseth. Pete Hagee, baby. That's my boy. That's my boy, Pete Hagee, baby. That's my boy. How y'all know? How y'all like Pete? That's my boy. Pete Hagee, baby, getting the job done. Pete Hagee, baby. Getting the job done, getting the job done. Custom Layout 5, back in the building. Double tap, hit the like button. Double tap, hit the like button. If it was really insurrection, why wasn't anyone charged with insurrection? I don't think I said insurrection, did I? Did Pete Hegseth mention insurrection? I think he said seditious. I was reading it so fast. Nobody didn't give me my props for reading out loud, too. I did good on that one. I did real good. Hegseth is going to be thrown under the bus. I hope not, man. I like Pete. We support Pete Hegseth. He's been getting a lot. He's been getting a lot of hate. He's been divorced. I've been divorced. He still loves his kids. He loves his country. It's like a man can't. Thank you. Nice job, Pete. Shout out to Truth Only. Nice job, Pete. People beat up Pete Hegseth because he got divorced. And you know what I respect about Pete and Donald Trump, even though they got divorced and they may have got hurt, divorce, I've been divorced. It's like a death. And Pete still got remarried. Donald Trump still got remarried, So I got a lot of respect for Pete. Every time you see him, he's with his kids. He loves his country. He loves his family. I don't understand the lenses that Democrats look at things through. Like every time I see Pete Hegseth, he supports his president. He's thankful for the job that Donald Trump gave him. He loves his children. He loves America. I don't get it. A lot of times it's like they have to go past everything that they see. They have to go past everything in front of them. Go past the fact that he's a patriot. Go past the fact that he's a father. Go past the fact that he's a good employee, and go find something about him because he's a white man that you can dislike and say he's a bad person because he's a white man. There must be something wrong with Pete because he's a white man, right? He divorced his wife divorced him, so it has to be his fault because he's a white man, and the white man is to blame for everything. I mean, right now, to be a white man in America, if you're a Republican, you got to be brave because you're going to get so much flack. Just like me, being black right now and being a Republican, and you get so much flack. Pete Hegseth didn't do nothing but love his children and love his country. And everybody has a joke. Everyone has a joke. What about his kids? What about his kids? As we make jokes about someone who's dedicated to doing his job, dedicated to his country, dedicated to his God. You know, Pete Hegseth loves his God. He loves his God. He loves his country. He loves his children. And you want to look past all of that to find something to hate on. I think that's a problem with you, buddy. Yeah, man. Shout out to Pete Hegseth to the Department of War, man. And Mark Kelly is up, man. Mark Kelly, your time is up, man. Mark Kelly, your time is up, man. I read the whole thing, man. Mark Kelly, your time is up, man. Yep. Mark Kelly, your time is up. You should have known better. You should have known better. All that seditious behavior, and they've been watching you. It's just like the feds, man. They watch you and they document. The Fed, he's here from June to December. It's going to be hard because he kept making statements, right? He kept making statements, and he didn't shut up. He didn't shut up. So what in this censure letter, it's saying every time he spoke on social media, even as a job, we know better than to keep talking on social media, right? But he kept talking, and so the censure letter and is everything about the censure letter is because everything he said from June to December.
That if you're a leader,
I'm gonna play some videos on the sedition real quick. I was looking for the sedition 6 actual video. But let's check this out. 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 Let's check this out, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that. Y'all like that? Let's get into
to be a drill sergeant like me, a section NCO. Good afternoon, everyone. So today, I just wanted to come on here and tell you that if you're a leader, it doesn't, any type of leader, right? You could be a drill sergeant like me, a section NCO, a platoon sergeant, a first sergeant. And if you think that you are going to have the capability to be disrespectful, to be malicious, to be spiteful with people's careers, with the people that work for you in general, just remember, karma knows your name. And sooner or later, she's going to charge you. So treat people with kindness and respect.
illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse.
My mic was muted. My mic was muted the whole time. Ain't nobody tell me my mic was muted. They said we can't hear nothing you said, man. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. All right, we back. We back. We unmuted. Double tap hit the like button. Double tap hit the like button. We back unmuted. How long we been muted for, man? Okay, good now. No sound still. Shit. How long was I down with the sound? We can't hear you. Nothing, bro. Still no sound. God damn, man. Maybe no sound. No sound. No sound. Oh, no sound. A few minutes. Okay. So you can't see the drill sergeant video. Oh, man. Oh, a few minutes. That sucks. I legit said you were muted. I know you did. I saw it now. And these glasses is hella big. These glasses is hella big. And I didn't see that. Ooh, these brand new. These is progressive bifocals. Oh man, kid, man, y'all get your roast on in the chat. Get your roast on in the chat. Let's go to the video, man. Let's go to the video.
Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
Who take risks each day to keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals.
Against American citizens.
like us.
So just for context, everybody, this is Mark Kelly. You see Mark Kelly? This is the video that has Mark Kelly under investigation by Pentagon and Department of War Pete Hegseth. I just read to you that Pete Hegseth has submitted a censure letter to demote Mark Kelly, who you're looking at on your screen right now. Captain Mark Kelly, even though he's a senator, he's still receiving. So I don't know how many paychecks he's getting. He gets paid by the Senate. He probably gets Social Security, and he also gets a retirement check from the military. So he probably gets 3 or 4 paychecks every month. So Pete Hegseth has said he's going to demote him. He's put a censure letter and he's being investigated by the Pentagon to bring down his pay and bring down his rank as a retired military captain. I am playing for you the video of which that is in question on whether or not I'm asking the chat to tell me. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree that this is a seditious video. Put a 2 in the chat if you disagree with Department of War and Pete Hegseth prosecution of Mark Kelly. 1 in the chat if you agree that this video is seditious. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with the Pentagon prosecution of Mark Kelly and the demotion. Put a 2 in the chat if you think it's wrong. Let's finish the video.
You all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
but from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law
or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
the Army,
our Navy,
the Air Force,
your vigilance is critical.
And know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
the American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws,
our Constitution,
and who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
I think that's embarrassing. What do you mean we need you to stand up? It's kind of embarrassing. Do you realize you're talking to trained professionals who have been sworn to a duty? This was a very insulting video. I agree with Pete Hegeseth checking this at the door as a leader. See, the thing is, Mark Kelly is no longer in the military. You have to keep order in the military. That's why I played that previous video. And there's a problem with individuals trying to mess with the rank and order and rancor of the military command, right? They know this. They have been trained. They are paid. The military these soldiers are paid, trained, and committed. So for you to get up here and to say don't give up the ship, are you trying to insinuate that are quitters? The military are quitters, right? The military are the ones who would do it illegal. It's the same thing with Rachel Maddow. Remember when Rachel Maddow said that SEAL Team 6 could face charges for the boat for the boat? Rachel Maddow, SEAL Team 6 Southern Spear comments. She said that they might get brought up, they might get brought up on criminal charges, right? Rachel Maddow suggested that they could be found and be charged of criminal charges. Did you guys see this video? This was a very telling video. Have you guys seen this? This is a very telling video. I might be revealing something here this morning. We're doing great work today. Double tap at the like button, everybody. Double tap at the like button.
I just really wanted to talk to you about, since this post story just blew this unbelievable fact out into public view, and I wonder your thoughts on all of it.
I am disturbed by this, I think, as everybody is. I was taking a step back from this, Nicole. I don't understand why we're going to war with Venezuela. And I'm not sure the administration has even bothered to try to come up with anything even internally coherent in terms of explaining why Trump has proclaimed that we are at war with Venezuela. My sense is that they wanted to use the Alien Enemies Act to illegally deport people, arrest and deport people from this country that actually weren't subject to deportation. They decided the Alien Enemies Act was a way to do that. They then realized the Alien Enemies Act required a war, so then they declared a war. Then they needed a reason for the war, so then they reverse engineered some sort of reason for the war. Mm-hmm. Ostensibly right now, the reason for the war is to stop drug trafficking into the United States. Today, the man convicted of the largest volume of drug trafficking in the history of the United States was just freed from prison by Donald Trump, the former president of Honduras. So clearly, if that's the area of focus, that isn't the justification for this war. So what are we doing there in the first place? Why are we blowing out of the water and killing people in boats with outboard motors, some of which aren't even pointed towards the United States, let alone verified to have drugs on them, let alone even if they were coming to the United States and they had the capacity to reach the United States and they were filled with drugs, why isn't it possible to just interdict them the way that we do with the Coast Guard, where you go and take the drugs and then put those people on trial and investigate and then follow the drugs to their source of origin and then take.
So, because we already know where they're coming from, Rachel. We already know they're coming from Venezuela. Did you guys just hear that? Why don't we stop the drug boat like it's a car? The drug boat was coming at 2 o'clock in the morning under the guise of night doing 100 knots, and there were 13 Trinidad Agua cartel members on a speedboat. This was not in the daytime, jet skis, having fun, Rachel Maddow. What the SEAL Team 6 saw was a go-fast boat, a go-fast speedboat with 13 men, 13 armed men, and there were cocaine in the boat. After she said all of this conjecture, what did we find out? That the first missile took out 11 of the 13 and 2 members lived. And the reason why SEAL Team 6 took them out is because they tried to save the cocaine and they tried to gather up the weapons and continue the mission. Rachel Maddow suggests that if the SEAL Team 6, it's the Navy's job to protect the coast. It's called the Coast Guard. Can I get Coast Guard in the chat? It's called the Coast Guard. Guard the coast, Rachel Maddow. She said the Navy SEALs, the Coast Guard, should pull over a boat at 3 o'clock in the morning when it's midnight, going fast, Do you know there's laws? And if I'm driving a car, you know what I have to have? I have to have a license plate on the car. I have to have a driver's license. I have to have headlights. I have to have brake lights. Imagine driving down a busy highway with no headlights, no brake lights, no license plate, and then expecting police to simply nicely, and I'm going 100 miles per hour, endangering everybody on the road. Expect the police to just pull me over? You expect the police? No! Take that car out before it kills somebody. Take that car out before it kills somebody. He's supposed to have a license plate. He's supposed to have headlights, brake lights. He's supposed to have a driver. So this Go Fast boat had no license. It had no proper markings, right? It had no identification. If you're in a boat and you're coming to the coast of America, we don't just allow everybody to berth. It's called birth. We don't just allow anybody just to dock on our coastal shores. You have to go through a mechanism. You have to talk to a yacht master. You have to go to an official dock. You have to have a registry of why you're at this dock, what you're delivering, and what you're doing in America. We don't just be nice. We don't let a Go Fast boat with 13 men who we don't identify just dock on American shores. That would not be the Navy. The Navy's job is to protect the coast. Let's get back to the video. She suggested that they pull them over like a cop car. I played the video, a Go Fast boat moving, a Go Fast boat video of a boat, a Go Fast boat moving at 2 o'clock in the morning. I played the video of the Go Fast boat moving at 2 o'clock in the morning. Go Fast boat moving at 2 o'clock in the morning. Huh?
The administration saying about that, and we have some more reporting as well.
Yeah, we have seen many of these, obviously, in recent weeks, and the Department of Defense has put out a new video of these latest strikes that they say took place yesterday on December 30th. And they say that in the course of this...
Do you see this boat? Do you see this boat? Is everybody watching this boat? Do you see what we're seeing? Rachel Maddow says you pull this boat over. Do you see this boat? Do you see this boat? It's nighttime. If it wasn't for Navy SEALs being so proficient in having the technology, they never would have saw the boat, because the boat is not trying to get here through legal means. The boat is trying to sneak in the country with fentanyl and cocaine. The boat is trying to sneak in the country illegally with fentanyl and cocaine. It's full of drug members and drugs. Look at the boat. Do you see the boat at nighttime? Do you see the boat at nighttime? Do you see the boat? The boat at nighttime.
The first strike did kill some who were aboard these vessels. Certainly the first one, they say they were killed in the first engagement. But what's interesting and notable here, Kate, is that they say the remaining, quote, alleged narco-terrorists abandoned the other two vessels, jumping overboard and distancing themselves. So it's unclear whether they survived that.
Black water, ladies and gentlemen. Black water. Look at the water. Black water. Six engines. Thank you, Roscoe. Black water under the cover of night. Black water under the cover of night. And Rachel Maddow says we should have pulled them over. Rachel Maddow says we should have pulled them over. Like police pull over a car.
If that's the area of focus, that isn't the justification for this war. So what are we doing there in the first place? Why are we blowing out of the water and killing people in boats with outboard motors, some of which aren't even pointed towards the United States, let alone verified to have drugs on them?
She should be in trouble, right? She should be in trouble, right? You guys just saw the video. It was going toward this in the Southcom region. They got intercepted by the Navy SEALs. This was not just any other type. This is an operation that's a standing orders from the Department of War. They're in the Southcom region in a fast-moving boat in the middle of night with 13 men in drugs. She should be in trouble for this propaganda. What do you mean not pointing toward the U.S.? What do you mean, Rachel Maddow? Let's go.
Alone, even if they were coming to the United States, and they had the capacity to reach the United States, and they were filled with drugs. Why isn't it possible to just interdict them the way that we do with the Coast Guard, where you go and take the drugs and then put those people on trial and investigate and then follow the drugs to their source of origin and then take care of it there? Like, none of this makes any sense. It feels like they bumbled themselves into a profoundly incoherent and illegal situation in which they decided the one true benefit they were getting out of all of it is that they were getting video game style visuals to play on Fox News and put on TikTok. And they liked that. So now they have put this admiral, the commander of Southern Command, every senior officer in that command, and all of the servicemen and women who serve there in the position of potentially being held liable for murder or war crimes until the statute of limitations on those matters runs. And I don't even know what it would be. And by backing and bumbling and symbolically rambling themselves into this mess, I'm less worried about the fate of the bad guys who have gotten us here than I am about the good people who've been put in the way of this mess. And from
Did you guys hear that? She's less worried about the bad guys. 100,000 Americans died from fentanyl last year. Over the last 10 years, we're talking about millions of Americans dying from fentanyl, meth, cocaine, and she's more worried about the bad guys. I feel that today when people, thank you, Mike, when people are talking about Venezuela, the ignorant people who just want to be Democrats, she says she's more concerned with drug dealers. America has been plagued with a drug war for the past 50 years. We've been dealing with 3 strikes. Remember, stop and frisk. Can I take a break real quick? I want to take a beat real quick. Y'all matter if I take a beat real quick? Because people bring up my race. So let me go racial for a minute. As a black man, I want to share something with you. I have suffered the ills of the drug war. I grew up in the inner city. And I am so proud that I voted for Trump. I am so proud of Trump and the Republicans. Do you want to know why? This is the first president who has looked at the drug problem in America and has said, I'm not going to arrest Americans. You know, Democrats, you know what the Democrats do when they get tough on crime? You know what the Democrats do when they fight drugs? They arrest Americans. They build jails, private prisons, and they put black men in jail. There are more black men arrested in prison in America than there are people, humans globally incarcerated, all because of the drug war, all because of the drug war. This is the first president who has said we have a problem with drugs in our country. And this is the first president that has said, I am going to stop the drugs at the source. For 50 years, we have claimed to have a drug war. For 50 years, we have claimed to be tough on drugs, but we've never stopped the cartels. I've always wondered this as a black man who suffered from police actions, who suffered from 3 strikes. I've always wondered, why didn't we go to Colombia? Does anybody remember Nino Brown said, hey, we don't make the drugs here. We don't make the Uzis. They're Israeli Uzis, right? AK-47s are Russian military weapons. There's the Uzis and drive-bys. And this is going to come relevant when I talk about Venezuela and their relationships with Hezbollah and Hamas. Why would Venezuelan cartels build such relationships? Is relevant, right? So in the inner cities of America, you have gang members protecting the drug trade with Israeli Uzis and Russian AK-47s. But no one ever went and say, hey, stop shipping those Israeli Uzis to America. Stop shipping those Russian AK-47s to America. Hey, stop shipping that cocaine to America inner cities. No one ever said, we're going to go to Colombia. We're going to go to Venezuela. We're going to go shut down the cartels. And you know what Trump did on Christmas? You know, Trump attacked Nigeria and Trump blew up the distribution. Before he went and got Maduro, listen to my argument. To be tough on crime, to be tough on drugs, Trump went to Venezuela. How many drug boats have been blown up? Somebody in the chat said no. Do you know how many drug boats have been blown up? 30 drug boats and 107 drug dealers have been killed by this operation from the Department of War. You didn't know that, did you? 30 drug boats and 107 drug dealers. It is drugs. It is drug boats. We can say that definitively because we've blown up 30 drug boats and we've killed 107 drug dealers. Did you know that? I don't think you knew that. But right before he went to go get Maduro, Trump blew up the factory. He was standing next to Bibi Netanyahu talking about peace in the Middle East. Remember, I gave you that story on Christmas, peace in the Middle East, and he said we blew up the factory. We blew up. That's being tough on drugs. He blew up the factory. That's being tough on drugs. Putting black men in prison doesn't stop the cocaine from getting to America. Putting black kids in prison didn't stop the cocaine from getting to America. Trump said, I'm going to Venezuela. Trump said, Colombia better shut it down. Trump said, we're going to Nicaragua. Trump shut down the cocaine plantation. I love my president. I love my president. Back to the video.
Admiral Bradley on down. And it's a catastrophe. I think Pete Hegseth, it's impossible to imagine that he survives this as Secretary of Defense. I think he must resign, and I think Republicans will ask for that ultimately once they investigate this. But this is a disaster for this generation of people serving in the United States military. And that is a tragedy more than a farce.
I think about the warnings from the generals, and I think about how desperate I was in the walk up to the 2024 election for the people who Carol Leonnig and Phil Rucker have this incredible scene from inside the tank at the Pentagon, where he's just ripping all of the generals, the most accomplished combat veteran generals who've risen to the ranks, who have the respect of the men and women under them, who, have lost. I mean, people who have been through more in their service than Trump has in 10 of his lives. And he's attacking them and criticizing them and belittling them. And I remember being so desperate for those generals to talk to the country about what it would mean for the military, arguably the most opaque agency, even more than the CIA, definitely more than DOJ, where judges have contact and friction with the things that happen at DOJ. And I played some of General Kelly's, kind of 11th hour interview where he talks about what Trump wanted to do with the military. And he says this thing that people didn't focus on. He says, everything he wanted to do, I would go to the White House Counsel. Now, sounds like a normal routine thing to do, but it suggests that there was constantly a need to tell Donald Trump that which was legal and illegal that he wanted to do with the military. Yeah. And when you have, and Hegseth's answer today was, quote, we're not going to just arrest people anymore. Well, arresting drug traffickers is what you do. The Coast Guard goes out there and they seize the drugs and they arrest them. And as you said, they go and find them at the source. I mean, if this is what's public facing, what is sort of the mountain of questions about what's happened to the military in these 12 months?
I mean, Trump wants to use the military for everything, right? You're also not supposed to use the military for running drunk driving checkpoints in Washington, D.C. You're not supposed to use United States Marines for protecting a federal building in Los Angeles from normal levels of protest. I mean, all of these things that he wants to use the military for. I mean, I half believe that the reason he thinks he can get rid of FEMA is because he's heard that the National Guard did some disaster response once. So can't we just use the military as emergency response? Like, can't the military take care of hurricanes? I mean, an authoritarian leader wants unified command.
I think Rachel Maddow don't love Americans. Has FEMA been an utter failure? This is why we voted for Trump and it's America First. Trump didn't suggest the military helping because he doesn't understand. He understands that FEMA has been a boondoggle by the Democrats. The Clinton mafia, the Biden mafia has used FEMA to steal money. You forgot about Haiti. You forgot about everywhere where FEMA failed and did not show up, did not have resources, did not have money. So Trump did not want to be embarrassed, and he knew the military because eventually, who fixed Katrina? Remember the guy, Mike from FEMA, who fucked up Katrina? Eventually, they had to call in General Honore of the military, Rachel Maddow. She doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. Eventually, they had to call in General Honore, Rachel Maddow, because FEMA fucked it up. I don't understand this. It's like, does she think that we're asleep? Does she think we don't remember? What is she saying? The military was needed because FEMA couldn't do the job. And Americans come first. Before this libtard bullshit, Americans and their safety comes before this liberal libtard bullshit. And Katrina would have stayed fucked up if the military hadn't gone in. The Katrina would have stayed a debacle if it weren't for the military's expertise in logistics. That's just a fact, Rachel Maddow. That's just a fact. I don't know what she's saying.
Over everybody who has a gun. He wants them all answerable to him, and he wants to be able to use them without restraint. And he wants to be able to use them against his own people, right? So once you're starting to think like Donald Trump does about what power really means to him, when he talks about how there can't be illegal orders by virtue of the fact that he gives an order, that means they have to do it, gives you a real insight into what he thinks the military is for. And he wants to use them domestically, and he wants to use them for everything. And he doesn't see the value of any other form of governance.
Jacoby and Myers has been a proud part of the California community since 1972. We've stood by our neighbors, helping hundreds of...
So once the U.S. military is seen as a tool like that of a leader like him, all eyes have to shift to the internal ethos and discipline of the U.S. military. Will you allow yourselves to be used this way? I mean, that ultimately may be the distinction between us becoming a dictatorship and us remaining a republic, is whether or not there is internal discipline and ethics in the United States military that prevent them from being used the way that Trump wants to use them. And having them carry out illegal orders is a great way to break those ethics and to break that discipline.
What do you think burst this story into public view? Because to your point, since go, he sent them out to the streets of American cities, which is another thing the generals warned him about in the first term, stopped him from doing. Milley and Esper, it's been reported by multiple journalists in the Oval Office after the murder of George Floyd. This is the first strike, but this has now been going on for many months.
Yeah.
After this strike, they started returning survivors. I mean, what do you think? What do you think brought this story into public view?
I don't know. And I don't have any inside information on this. This is me speculating. But I think there was a really important NBC News report about what was happening inside Southern Command. We saw the shock resignation of the head of Southern Command. Mm-hmm. He was not supposed to be leaving office. And he left office without Hegseth and Trump attacking him. There was sort of mild praise, thank you for your service. And he's disappearing, and nobody knows why he's leaving his post. Then we get that NBC News reporting that the senior JAG, senior legal officer at Southern Command, has been essentially removed from the chain because of expressing concerns about the illegality of these strikes. Then we get follow-up reporting about there being a secret classified memo that was prepared in the Office of Legal Counsel at the Justice Department saying, you guys won't get prosecuted for this stuff, okay? We can't exactly articulate a reason why, but that's why. Like, clearly there is incredible friction inside the US military, including at very senior ranks, among people who know that this is wrong and who are trying to stop it, who are resigning, who are being removed from their positions because they are trying to stop it. And once you've got that kind of internal friction, once you've got that kind of internal fight, you're going to have news. I'm not saying, again, I don't have any inside information about what the source of this information is. But when you're asking people to do something that wrong,
just shut up. Just shut up. This is like they say to Candace Owens, if you don't have any information, if you're just talking, then that's seditious. She needs to be brought up on charges. Did you hear what she said? The Democrats love to double talk and then throw out a disclaimer. I don't have any proof. I don't have anything. I'm just saying this seditious shit on television about the America and the president stopping cocaine and drugs coming into the country. Makes no sense. Just shut up. Just shut up, Rachel Maddow. You haven't made one iota of sense in this whole time. This whole time I had to play this, y'all. So y'all could get the conjecture of what's going on. We moving into Maduro. We moving into Maduro. We moving into what Trump has done. I'm going to give you some background. We moving into Maduro right now. Let's read it right now. U.S. Special Forces capture Maduro and Caracas and Caracas raid on January 3rd, 2026. Absolute resolve saw special forces using drones, precision strikes to seize Venezuelan President Maduro on his wife, Celia Flores, flying them to New York for trial on 2020 narco-terrorism indictments. You know, I read that the other day. How many people knew that Maduro will have already been indicted? How many people knew that Maduro had already been indicted? Maduro's a dictator. I presented that here. I said there was an election from the opposition party. Maduro's been there for 10 years. He's not the president. Maduro's not the president. I'm going to play video from people who live there. Maduro's not the president. He lost multiple elections. Maria had to get smuggled out of the country by the CIA. Maduro lost to Maria, opposition leader. Then Maria had a substantive person that he lost the election to again. So just like Zelensky is not the president, Maduro is not the president. Zelensky needs to have an election, and Zelensky would get elected out. And Maduro has had 2 elections, and he did not leave. That's a dictator, ladies and gentlemen. That's a dictator, ladies and gentlemen. And I played the opposition leader Maria's video, who said that Venezuela, when people say Venezuela has been invaded over the weekend, the opposition leader who won the election, Maduro unrightfully is dictator. She said Venezuela has already been invaded. Venezuela has already been invaded by Hamas, by ISIS, by Hezbollah. That was the opposition leader who already defeated Maduro. But Maduro would not honor the election because he's a dictator. Did they tell you that? Did they tell you that? Did they tell you that? Let's get into it. On July 3rd, 2026, operation, this is the operation, put it in the chat, hashtag absolute resolve, saw special forces use drones and precision strikes to seize Venezuelan president and his wife, Celia Flores, flying them to New York for trial on 2020 narco-terrorism indictments tied to Cartel de la Soles. President Trump hailed it as justice against drug trafficking, while crowds in Venezuela celebrated with tears of joy and flag waving. So when Rachel Maddow and people say that this is a war and he got captured, no, just like the oil tanker that was flagged by Biden, but Biden did nothing about it. You know, the border czar Kamala Harris, who was in Munich trying to rile up World War III and start a Cold War, she should have been dealing with this right here, right? The oil tanker that was flagged by the Biden Kamala Harris administration didn't do anything. And then who actually indicted Maduro, right? But didn't go down there and actually arrest him. Who did this? Is Trump cleaning up Biden and Kamala's mess. This is Trump cleaning up Biden and Kamala's mess. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. He was indicted in 2020. Who was president in 2020? Wasn't Biden and Kamala? So Biden and Kamala indict Maduro for cocaine trafficking. Why can't the Democrats and the liberals be honest about the fact that Trump is cleaning up their mess and wiping your ass? Why don't you wipe your own ass, Democrats? Why don't you wipe? Can I get wipe ass in the chat? Can I get wipe ass in the chat? Wipe your own ass, Democrats, and we wouldn't have to be doing this. Wipe your own ass. Do you guys remember how Biden left Afghanistan? Who knows why Biden lost? Who knows why Biden couldn't run as president? Well, Biden did so poorly in the debate, in the first debate against Trump. And why did Biden lose in that first debate? Because Trump reminded the American people, not just Sleepy Joe, but actual what type of leader Joe Biden is. He could have picked on Joe Biden. But instead, he went to what has Joe Biden done for you as president? And he pointed to how he left Afghanistan and what turmoil he left the Middle East in when he left Afghanistan the way he left Afghanistan. Joe Biden could not recover from that debate. Joe Biden could not recover from how he left Afghanistan. If you want to know more, then you can look at the oil tankers. How many oil tankers have Trump seized? How many oil tankers have Trump seized? Trump and Pete Hegseth in the Department of War have blown up 30 drug boats, 107 drug dealers killed. How many oil tankers? 25 oil tankers. Now, why is this important? Because the oil tankers was also flagged by Joe Biden. I said the oil tanker was also flagged by Joe Biden. So Joe Biden flagged the oil tanker. But wait a minute, because this goes to Rachel Maddow and the Democrats and why and what we're doing in Venezuela. So the question should be, well, why did Joe Biden flag the oil tanker? Why did Joe Biden flag the oil tanker? Joe Biden flagged the oil tanker because the Democratic administration knew and had knowledge of. Can we get a double? Can I get some likes in the chat right now? Can I get some likes in the chat? Get my likes up. Get my likes up. The Democratic administration had knowledge that Venezuela had been trading with terrorists. I said the Democratic Joe Biden, Kamala Harris administration had knowledge that Venezuela was trading oil for guns and training. What do you mean, Perfect? That Venezuela was trading the dirty crude to Middle Eastern terrorists for guns to protect the cocaine and training the Venezuelan cartel members in paramilitary exercises. Yeah, Joe Biden already knew that Venezuela was shipping oil to Hezbollah and getting guns to protect the cocaine trade. But they never arrested the boat. They never arrested the boat. Why don't you ask the right question? Joe Biden flagged the boat. Why did Joe Biden and Kamala Harris flag the boat? They flagged the boat because they knew the boat was selling oil to terrorists. But they were too busy with the border. Does everybody understand? They were too busy with the border. They were too busy with the border. So they didn't do their jobs. That's why Kamala lost. That's why Biden lost. And nobody's asking the real questions. Shit, he's right. Joe Biden did flag that damn oil tanker. Why didn't Joe Biden just arrest him? Joe Biden did flag that oil tanker. Why didn't Joe Biden finish the damn job? Shit, Joe Biden is the one who indicted Maduro. Why didn't Joe Biden? Shit, Barack Obama is the one who wrote the Affordable Care Act. Why didn't he just do it right the first time? Shit, Joe Biden is the one who added the subsidies to Obamacare. Why didn't he make them permanent the first time? Shit. Let's keep going. Let's read this story. I'm going to get into it. We're getting into Venezuela. We're getting into Maduro right now. We're getting into Venezuela and of course, another Republican starting a war. This ain't a war, homie. This ain't a war, homie. Don't just come into the chat and be a dum-dum. Listen for a second. Don't just come into the chat and be a dum-dum. Listen for a second. What I am explaining to you is that Joe Biden indicted Maduro. Joe Biden sanctioned the oil tanker. Trump is just wiping your ass. Trump is just wiping your ass. And you owe us a thank you. You owe us a thank you. Trump is just wiping your ass. Maduro was already indicted. Maduro was a dictator. The oil tanker was already flagged by the Biden administration. They just didn't have any balls. Kamala and Biden just didn't have any balls. That's why they backed down from Putin. That's why they backed down from Bibi. That's why they backed down from Iran. And that's why they backed down from Maduro. Because Biden and Kamala didn't have no balls. Tell me I'm wrong. Let's get into it. On January 3rd, 2026, Operation Absolute Resolve saw special forces use drones and precision strikes to seize Venezuelan President Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, flying them to New York for trial on 2020 narco-terrorism indictments tied to Cartel de los Soros. President Trump hailed it as justice, 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 baby. Justice, baby. Venezuelan men, those who say the U.S. is only interested in oil, I'll ask you, what do you think the Russians and the Chinese want to hear? The recipe for, let's listen to this.
Los gringos solo quieren el petróleo, y los gringos.
So this is video. So people are saying that there's a war, right? Do you see a war? Does anyone see a war? Does anyone see a war? I don't see a war. I see Venezuelans. So this is Venezuela celebrating after the Maduro getting arrested. The dictator. I told you the opposition party won the election. Maduro has lost 2 elections. He's a dictator. He's been killing people. This is the Venezuelan people celebrating. This is the Venezuelan people celebrating. I don't see no war. Does anybody see any war, any conflict in the streets? I don't see any war. When the Democrats and the trolls keep saying, oh, another war. Oh, another war. Oh, another war. Republicans and another. I don't see no war. Anybody see a war? Anybody see a war? I don't see no war. I see celebration in the streets. Huh? I see celebration in the streets. Huh? Nicolás Maduro had his chance until he didn't. Trump admin will always defend America. Let's take a look at this
Department
video.
of Justice. United States military conducted an apprehension mission in Caracas, Venezuela, to bring to justice 2 indicted persons, Nicolás and Cecilia Maduro.
Nicolás Maduro had his chance until he didn't. He effed around and he found out.
This was one of the most stunning, effective, and powerful displays of American military might and competence in American history.
Like, I don't understand yet how they haven't figured this out. And now, if you don't know, now you know. Because this is the way it's going to play out. And I think people need to understand that this is not a president that just talks and does letters and press conferences. And, you know, if he says he's serious about something, he means it. But don't play games. Don't play games with this president's in office, because it's not going to turn out well.
Don't play games, baby. Don't play games, baby. Can I get that in the chat? We ain't play no games. We ain't play no games. We ain't play no games. Can I get that in the chat? We play no games, baby. Don't play no game. Play a fool. We play no games. Don't play with this president. Marco Rubio, hey, and can I just say, how good is Marco Rubio looking? Yo, those of us who are not young, we have seen Marco Rubio grow into a great politician. I just want to say shout out to Marco Rubio. We see you. We watching you. We love you. You know what I'm saying? And thank you for all your hard work you've been doing for the country, man. Marco Rubio doing a great job. Again, you guys, how long we've been watching Marco Rubio grow, and it took President Trump to actually give him his props. Shout out to Trump for making sure Marco Rubio is seen, man. Yeah, does anybody know how good it is to be seen? Does anybody know how good it is to be seen when you've dedicated so much of yourself? Shout out Vance Rubio 28. Mike Hurd, FBA in the motherfucking building. Rubio looking good, man. Rubio looking good, man. He looking good, man. He looking good, man. Little Rubio hasn't grown an inch. I disagree. And I think you know it. That's why you make that snide comment. I think you know it, and you can see what's on the horizon. Because intellectual people will pay attention and reward hard work. And Rubio has worked hard as a politician for this country. That hard work is going to get rewarded. So you got to go, man. You got to go, man. If you can't disagree without being racist and interjecting race and all of that weird stuff, you know what I'm saying? He's been a politician for too long in America for you to just throw him away because of his race. That's the ignorance of the Democratic Party. He's done too much work. You got to have something better than just saying what his race is and not supporting what he's done for America. That is so intellectually lazy. Democrats, that is so intellectually lazy. It is. It should be criminal. I don't know why YouTube allows comments like that, but it should be criminal for you to throw away a man who's worked hard for this country and say, oh, he's this and he's that. That comment should get you kicked off of YouTube. That comment should get you kicked off of YouTube. That's disrespectful. He's working for the country. He's been working in politics for damn near his whole life. And you disregard him because of his race. That's just lazy. That's just lazy, straight up. That's just lazy.
De Nicolás Maduro y su esposa, hoy son libres.
So we're going to cut the music because we don't want to get a copyright, but more video of celebrating in Venezuela. More video, bumper to bumper, Venezuela liberated. They are celebrating the liberation, Libertad. Does anybody remember in Tony Montana, nobody wants those hoes country? That's right. 80% of YouTube workers are liberals. I don't know what that has to do with anything. You better, let me just get you up out of here, man. You better make your point, brother. You better make your point, brother, because you're going to get up out of here because we ain't got time for the haters, man. Working hard for the people, and Trump is sweeping up the mess left by Biden and his misfits and puppet losers. Scarface, Libertad. Yeah, man. Libertad. Let me show the video, man. Let me show the video, man. Let me show the video. More celebrations, man. More celebrations, More celebrations, Libertad. More celebrations. Let's go. This is how the Venezuelan people feel about it.
Así celebraron hoy los venezolanos la captura de Nicolás Maduro y su esposa, hoy son libres.
Venezuela, liberal. You see that? Look at that smile. This is but I don't see Rachel Maddow showing this. I don't see this on MSNBC, right? I don't see this on CNN, right? Bumper to bumper, thousands of people. This is a lady. This is a woman out of the car with the sign, and she is ecstatic. She is so happy she can't control herself. Can we get a thank you to Trump in the chat? Somebody said this was at a soccer game. FBA, I've been letting you live. You're not funny. You gone. FBA, you gone. Yeah, you gone.
De espalda está la Plaza de Bolívar y en la Plaza de Bolívar están esos venezolanos que hoy tienen la esperanza de que están a pocos minutos de recibir la noticia más esperada y quizás un poco más de 20 años. Hoy rogamos a Dios que la esperanza pueda volver a estas personas.
Thank you, Trump. Thank you, Mike. Can we get a thank you to Trump? That's all we want. Because this is a reality right now. We're dealing with some reality right now. We're just dealing with some realities right now. Thank you, Trump. Thousands of Venezuelans go out in La Vega, a popular area of Caracas, to celebrate the fall of Nicolás Maduro, right? Let's show this too. Let's show it again. Let's show some more. And then we're going to get into what we are doing there. I got this great video. I'm sure some of you guys have seen it, but I've been excited to show it. Let's take a look again. Venezuelans celebrating. This is in Caracas too, of all places. Can't make this up, baby. This is the reality on the ground, man. Thank you, Father God. God bless our heroes. They are celebrating. They are celebrating. God bless our heroes for the process of freedom. This is only the beginning. This is how I celebrate you, Venezuela. Even if we cannot shout free Venezuela, let us celebrate. This is the moment we have all been waiting for. This is Venezuelans celebrating in America. This is Venezuelans celebrating in America. So you have Venezuelans in America celebrating the liberation. They have Venezuelans in America celebrating the liberation, right? So people want to know, why are we in Venezuela? Why are we in, beyond what I told you about the drugs, beyond what I told you about the drugs, I want to play a video to give you some context why we are in Venezuela. This video, I was doing my research last night. And I feel like we...
China?
North Korea?
North Korea. Any North Korea takers? And
I was doing my research last night, right? And I think we've done a great job on this channel explaining the what and the why, right? But this video, this is the Monroe Doctrine. This is the Monroe Doctrine. And so this is a video I want you guys to see. And what it's basically what I've been teaching you guys for the past couple of weeks, right? I've basically been teaching you guys this for the past couple of weeks. So let's take a look at this video. Let's take a look at this video. Let's take a look at this video and we're going to discuss it. We're going to break it down. We might watch it a couple times and we're going to break it down. The question is, this is Venezuela explained, and why are we even concerned with Venezuela? Because Democrats keep asking that. So I guess we got to teach them too. That's what we do a lot here. We educate them. So let's teach them. Y'all ready to educate them? Let's educate them. How many people knew this? I knew about the oil reserves because I did the research, and that's how I found out that Venezuelan oil was dirty. Venezuelan oil is crude oil. It's extremely difficult to extract, and it's extremely expensive to clean, which is why the Venezuelan oil is not a factor in this invasion. We can't use the Venezuelan oil. It's too dirty. For every 1 barrel they produce, we produce 14 barrels. What I didn't know is that there was more gold in Venezuela than all of Africa combined. Did you guys know this? So for me, Venezuela is our Ukraine. Venezuela is in the, somebody said in the chat, which was a great comment, the Western Hemisphere is ours, get out. Venezuela is our Ukraine. We can't allow China or Russia or anyone to manipulate Venezuela because of what it is and what it has. This is chess. This is not liberals, and this is not about freedom. This is not about everybody being able to be free. This is about America being able to keep the world free, right? And America being the #1 power in the globe. And on the chessboard, you got to keep certain pieces in order for America to stay in power. I don't think people truly understand the power play. Venezuela is our Ukraine. Venezuela, like the Ukraine, remember Putin said the Ukraine can never be part of NATO? The Ukraine borders Russia. If the Ukraine becomes part of NATO, then NATO puts a NATO base in the Ukraine, and that's like nuclear weapons at Putin's back door. Fuck no, Putin's not going for that, right? Well, we're not going for that in Venezuela either. Do you guys get it? We're not going for that in Venezuela either. That's fucking at our back door. That's fucking Hezbollah at our back door. That's fucking Hamas at our back door. That is our fucking Ukraine. Wake up. Wake up. Yes, we are going to control Venezuela. And Russia is going to control Ukraine because that's his fucking back door. And Russia is a global power, not France. See, France needs NATO. Macron, you need us. Putin don't need you, Macron. He's proven that. But Macron, you need us. So fall the fucking line. Fall the fucking line. Fall the fuck in line, France, Macron, NATO. Venezuela is our Ukraine. They cannot have Venezuela. We will go to war over Venezuela on the chessboard. Does anybody understand this? I'm giving it to you now. Venezuela is our Ukraine. No one can be in Venezuela. No one can have it but us, because it's a major piece on the chessboard. If Venezuela falls to anyone but America, that's the end for America, because of the oil, because of the gold, because of the location. Wake the fuck up, America. Wake the fuck up, America. Stop being a mammy baby. Stop being a mammy baby. Stop fucking whining. Start understanding the world you live in. America runs South America. America runs the world, and we play chess. We play chess. We play chess. Come on, y'all. Y'all, what y'all think this is, a cartoon? You think they had a choice? Dude, who thought they ever had a choice? Whoa, that MAGA! Whoa, that MAGA! Whoa, that MAGA! I'm gonna play it again. I'm gonna play it again. I'm gonna play it again. But wait a minute. First, I want to go to the opposition leader. I'm gonna play it again. I'm gonna play it again. But first, I want to introduce you to somebody. First, I want to introduce you to somebody. You should know who this is. You should know who this is if you're gonna troll me. I want to introduce you to somebody. I want to introduce you to somebody.
Invasion in Venezuela.
This is the opposition leader. This is the opposition leader. This is the opposition leader who beat Maduro. Maduro is a dictator, and she's going to speak to you about the facts of the ground. I say again, Maduro is not the president. This is the opposition leader who beat Maduro in the election, and she's going to tell you, and we rescued her from Venezuela. She's going to tell you about the truth and the reality that was just backed up. That was a TV clip. This is real life. That was a TV clip. This is real life.
The threat of an invasion in Venezuela, and I answered, Venezuela has been already invaded. We have the Russian agents, we have the Iranian agents, we have terrorist groups such as Hezbollah, Hamas, operating freely in accordance with the regime. We have the Colombian guerrilla, the drug cartels that have taken over 60% of our populations, and not only involved in drug trafficking, but in human trafficking, in networks of prostitution. So this has turned Venezuela into the criminal hub of the Americas.
What?
And what sustained the regime.
What? 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 This is Sky News. This is Maria, Nobel Peace Prize winner, Maria Corina, and the leader of the opposition party. She's the leader of the opposition party. I'm trying to rewind it. Ladies and gentlemen, but fuck.
Is a very powerful and funded, strongly funded repression system. Where does that funds come from? Well, from drug trafficking, from the black market of oil, from arms trafficking, for human trafficking.
A very strongly funded corruption. I said earlier, where does the money come from? Well, from drug trafficking, from oil trafficking, from human trafficking. That is what is going on.
We need to cut those flows. And once it happens and repression is weakened, it's over, because that's the only thing the regime has left, violence and terror. So we ask the international community to cut those sources, because the other regimes that support Maduro and the criminal structure are very active and had turned Venezuela into the safe haven for their operations into the rest of Latin America.
Do you understand? Do you understand? This is the only place you get in this news. Do you understand? I'm going to play it again. This is not television. This ain't Jack Ryan, the Monroe Doctrine. I'm just giving you the facts of the matter, because people need sometimes, they need the TV. They need the TV. This is the real opposition leader. This is a real Nobel. This is not Jack Ryan. This is not television. She is the real opposition leader. She is Maria Corina. She won the Nobel Peace Prize, and the CIA had to sneak her out of Venezuela at night. Maduro was trying to murder her. So CIA had to sneak her out at night. Now let's play again what she said, because the Democrats said it's another war without congressional approval. It's not no war. It's not no war. Because this is the thing about the trolls. They just come in at the last 5 minutes. I read to you the indictment by Biden. Maduro was indicted in 2020 by Biden. This is not a war. We simply arrested someone that Biden didn't wipe his ass. Joe Biden didn't wipe his ass. He already indicted Maduro and his wife for criminal drug dealing. He just was too scared to arrest him. So Donald Trump had to go wipe his ass. There's no war. Just like the oil tanker was flagged by Biden. Did you guys know that? Biden flagged the oil tanker, but he didn't arrest him. He didn't wipe his ass. He waited for Trump to clean it up. Biden waited for Trump to clean up the Ukraine. Biden waited for Trump to have peace talks with Bibi. And you want to talk about war? We have a 21-point peace plan in Gaza. We have a 28-point peace plan in the Ukraine. There was nothing but death and murder the entire Biden-Kamala administration. There was not one peace talk, not one peace agreement during Biden and Kamala administration. Nothing but death and murder. We were afraid of we were afraid of World War III, and Biden said we should fear a second Cold War. As if Gorbachev and the wall still existed. As if Gorbachev and the wall. See, some of the children in the chat don't know who Gorbachev is. Some of the children in the chat don't know about Ronald Reagan's speech when he said tear down that wall. So Biden said it would be another Cold War. Kamala Harris was in the Munich Security Council saying that Ukraine could be part of NATO. They did not wipe their ass. Trump had to come in and wipe their ass. They flagged the boat. They indicted Maduro, but they didn't do the work. Now let me play the video of Maria Corina, Nobel Peace Prize winner, opposition leader of Venezuela, tell you about why Trump is doing what he's doing.
People talk about invasion in Venezuela, the threat of an invasion in Venezuela, and I answered, Venezuela has been already invaded. We have the Russian agents. We have the Iranian agents. We have terrorist groups such as Hezbollah, Hamas, operating freely in accordance with the regime. We have the Colombian guerrilla, the drug cartels that have taken over 60% of our populations, and not only involved in drug trafficking, but in human trafficking, in networks of prostitution. So this has turned Venezuela into the criminal hub of the Americas. And what sustained the regime is a very powerful and funded, strongly funded repression system. Where does that funds come from? Well, from drug trafficking, from the black market of oil, from arms trafficking, for human trafficking. We need to cut those flows. And once it happens and repression is weakened, it's over, because that's the only thing the regime has left, violence and terror. So we ask the international community to cut those sources, because the other regimes that support Maduro and the criminal structure are very active and had turned Venezuela into the safe haven for their operations into the rest of Latin America. Some people talk about invasion in Venezuela.
That's just a fact. Now let's play it again. Facts. I had to give you guys that. Facts. Venezuela is our Ukraine. That is our back door. Venezuela is our Ukraine. That is our back door. Venezuela cannot be under the control or even the guise of anyone else but us. I want to give you, I don't know if everybody even knows who Nicolás Maduro is. How many people know who Nicolás Maduro is? Does everybody know who Nicolás Maduro is? Let me give you some background just real quick so you know. Nicolás Maduro, former president of Venezuela, began his career as a bus driver for the Caracas metro system in the 1980s, where he also became involved in union activities. After training in Cuba as a young activist and briefly pursuing rock music, he rose through labor unions and entered politics under the mentorship of Hugo Cesar Chavez. Did you guys know that? Maduro was a bus driver, and he was chosen by Chavez to be his replacement. The problem with that is, much like Zelensky, the reason why we have this vacuum in Venezuela is because Maduro wasn't a politician. He didn't have experience. He didn't know he was supposed to leave when he got elected. Just like Zelensky is not a politician. Zelensky is an actor and a comedian. Maduro was a bus driver chosen by Hugo Cesar Chavez as a yes man. Chavez explicitly anointed Maduro in his final public address before dying of cancer, ensuring a clear handover within the ruling United Socialist Party of Venezuela. How many people knew that? How many people knew that? Now listen to this. In contrast, Maduro did not establish a similar robust succession mechanism. There's nobody to take over for Maduro. He's not a good politician. Cesar Chavez groomed Maduro, a fucking bus driver, so that somebody would take over and rule Venezuela with the same ideology that he had, Chavez. But Maduro didn't do that. Listen, I'm giving you information. In contrast, Maduro did not establish a similar robust succession mechanism during his over a decade-long rule, which has been marked by economic collapse, international isolation, and allegations of authoritarianism. Analysts have noted that he inherited a weakened international framework from Chavez, but further centralized power around himself in a small circle. A dictator. So I have been saying dictator. I'm giving you the background, the facts on the ground. Maduro was a dictator appointed by Chavez. He did not set up a succession program. In fact, the opposite. He centralized power and created a small circle. He had to go without grooming a clear heir or building party structures for smooth transition. This lack of preparation became evident following his abrupt removal from power on January 3rd, 2026, when U.S. forces captured him, striking Venezuela, leading to his extradition and ongoing trial in New York on drug and weapons charges. Now, just to reiterate, those drugs and weapon charges were placed on him by the Biden administration, not Trump. We just finished and followed through. In a vacuum, Vice President Delcy Rodriguez has emerged as an interim leader, but her role was not part of a predefined plan and has sparked a succession battle with potential for internal PSUV fractures, opposition resurgence, or further U.S. involvement in transitional government. Experts warn this could prolong instability in Venezuela as no formalized system was in place to handle Maduro's departure. Do y'all believe this? Do y'all believe this? Have you heard about this? Have you heard about this? Maduro was a bus driver. He was groomed and appointed on the deathbed by Julio Cesar Chavez when he was dying of cancer. Since Cesar Chavez crowned him king, he didn't do anything about the bad situation. In fact, he centralized power and created a small circle and then just guaranteed the demise of Venezuela. So this is a compounded issue. Besides the oil, besides the gold, besides the terrorists, besides the cartel, there is this individual like a Zelensky who could become a major problem to America if he decides to do a deal with China, if he decides to do a deal with Russia, being ignorant to global affairs because he's a fucking bus driver. So Maduro had to go. And I think Biden knew Maduro had to go, which is why Biden indicted Maduro. That's the facts on the ground. Did you guys know that? I just want to share with you because I don't think a lot of people know the details of Maduro, right? That he was a bus driver and he was groomed by Julio Cesar Chavez, but he didn't have enough forthrightness to do the same thing. I remember what Hillary did. You think I don't remember what Hillary did? I remember what Hillary did. Oh man, that was an accident. U.S. forces capture Maduro and wife on narco-terrorism charges. American special forces raided Maduro's Caracas home on January 3rd, capturing him and Flores in a CIA-led operation that breached steel doors after deceptive phone call. They face U.S. charges for leading the cartel De Los Soares, a cocaine trafficking network with FARC rebels that aim to flood the U.S. market. Secretary of State Mark Rubio defended the raid despite backlash from France, Germany, and the UN, while President Trump praised it and Venezuelan exile celebrated by toppling Hugo Cesar Chavez statues. You know, it got to be so important in 2028. You know, the first thing that Biden did when he got elected is put us back in the Paris Climate Accords. Do you guys remember the first thing Trump did when he got elected in the first term was remove us from the Paris Climate Accords? When Trump got reelected in his second term, what did he do? Again, remove us from the Paris Climate Accords. What else did he do? He gave NATO an ultimatum. He told NATO, if you don't pay your fair share, we're out of NATO. What else did he do to France and Macron? He told Russia that NATO will never become, Ukraine will never become part of NATO. So Trump, ever since Trump has become president, he has put NATO, France back in check and reminded him who is the global world power. And if you want to be the global world power, Macron and France, then you send $300 billion to Ukraine. You send the Tomahawks to the Ukraine. You send the money and you fight the war against Russia. It's your backyard. Venezuela is our backyard. You want to comment on Venezuela? If you have a problem with what we're doing with Venezuela, Macron, France, Europe, how about you go fight Russia? How about you get the $300 billion? Did you guys know that Macron in France is a major hurdle to peace in Ukraine? Because France is afraid of Putin in Russia, because Russia is right at France's back door. I get it, but I don't give a fuck. Do you understand that? MAGA understands that Putin is up your ass, but I don't give a fuck. I just don't. That's not our problem. It's America first, make America great again. So the peace agreement that we're going to have with Russia, we don't care. It's not going to have France in it. See, France and Europe don't want the peace agreement that we are negotiating with the Ukraine and Russia, because it doesn't put France's needs and NATO's needs at the forefront, and it shouldn't. We paid $300 billion. Now I get it. Russia is your neighbor. So you want to make sure you have some protections. Well, you should have been there when we were baking the bread. Macron, you should have been there when we were baking the bread. You should have been there when we were baking the bread. Now it's time to slice the bread, and France is pissed off at the piece that they're getting. I don't care. I don't care. I do not care. France, the peace deal is going to benefit America, and the peace deal is going to benefit Russia. American oil companies, American corporations are going to make a lot of money in Gaza, as we should. American oil companies and American corporations are going to make a lot of money in Ukraine, as we should. And everyone else can kiss ass. Everyone else can kiss ass, because you weren't there when we planted the seed. You weren't there when we milled the wheat into flour. You weren't there when we baked the flour into bread. But now you want a peace, France. Now you want to freeze NATO. Now you want a peace? No. So that's why we are doing the peace deal. America is doing the peace deal, and America is going to benefit greatly. And yes, Russia is going to benefit. Russia has lost lives. Russia is a major global power with nuclear weapons. Yeah, they got some leverage. Remember Donald Trump and the art of the deal? Donald Trump and the art of the deal? Yeah, they got some leverage. They got some leverage. So they're going to benefit. You know what's so great about Trump being president is Trump is not going to leave shit on the table. Trump ain't going to leave one crumb on the table. Trump is not going to leave one crumb on the table. America is going to eat in both peace agreements. And we don't care what how France and NATO feels about it, because we pay the lion's share, NATO. We pay the lion's share to you. We paid the lion's share in the Ukraine conflict. So NATO, politely, kiss our ass. Kiss our ass. Politely, NATO. Politely. politely, NATO. Venezuela is our Ukraine. Venezuela is our Ukraine. Venezuela is our Ukraine, and we getting it done. Venezuela is our Ukraine, and we getting it done. We got some more video for the people. Venezuela is our Ukraine. Let's get Mark Rubio. And, you know, we've been talking today about how well Mark Rubio has been doing. Let's go to Mark Rubio on this issue.
I'm confused. Are they still wanted by the United States? Why didn't you arrest them if you are taking out the narco-terrorist regime?
You're confused? I don't know why that's confusing to you.
They're still in
It's
power.
very simple. You're not going to go in and wrap up. But you can't go. You're going to go in and suck up 5 people. They're already complaining about this one operation. Imagine the howls we would have from everybody else if we actually had to go and stay there 4 days to capture 4 other people. We got the top priority. The number one person on the list was the guy who claimed to be the president of the country that he was not. And he was arrested along with his wife, who was also indicted. And that was a pretty sophisticated and frankly complicated operation.
It was.
It is not easy to land helicopters in the middle of the largest military base in the country. The guy lived on a military base. Land within 3 minutes, kick down his door, grab him, put him in handcuffs, read him his rights, put him in a helicopter, and leave the country without losing any American or any American assets. That's not an easy mission. And you're asking me, why didn't we do that in 5 other places at the same time? I mean, that's absurd. I do think this is one of the most, daring, complicated, sophisticated missions this country has carried out in a very long time. Tremendous credit to the U.S. military personnel who did it. It was unbelievable and tremendous success. And today, an indicted drug trafficker who was not the legitimate president of Venezuela, who we don't recognize, the Biden administration didn't recognize, 60-something countries don't recognize, the European Union doesn't recognize, and many countries in Latin America don't recognize. He was a indicted drug trafficker. He was arrested. His wife was arrested, also
but
indicted,
the others who are also indicted are still
system of courts.
The others who are also indicted are still in place. So that's the point of my questioning there. But you talked about not being the legitimate
So you wanted
president.
us to land in 5 other military bases?
No, I'm asking why you chose that this was the limit of the military operation. But to your point that you just made, that that Maduro was not the legitimate president.
He was the guy who was claiming to be the president.
Right. Well, the opposition.
He was the top target.
Okay.
I'm not going to say anything sexist. I want to. I just thank God that she is not the secretary. You know what I'm saying? Rachel Maddow, y'all not doing nothing for women leadership in politics. When you hear these women ask men about why men have made the decisions that they've made to keep the country safe, and these women have some of the most outlandish ideas, I don't see us getting to a female president. I don't see us getting to a female president because I don't see any woman just having the wherewithal to be president. From Rachel Maddow to all of these women who just don't truly understand who America is on the global stage and the linchpin it is. If America does not be America, then the globe starts to fall apart. That's what happened under Biden. When Donald Trump bombed Iran, a lot of people didn't understand. Those were the largest bombs under a nuclear weapon. No one has dropped bombs like that in over 10 years. Trump was reestablishing on the global scale that America is still number one. Fuck China, fuck BRICS, fuck all that other shit. I am going to drop damn near 2 nuclear bombs on Iran to remind the entire fucking globe, if you cross America, we gonna handle your ass. We gonna handle your candle. Because for 4 years under Biden, everybody thought China could beat America. Haven't you noticed that China has shut the fuck up? China don't want no smoke with Donald Trump. When Biden was president and Kamala was president, they knew there was a weakness in the Americas, and they took advantage of that weakness. If China was so big and badass with BRICS, then why didn't China start a conflict over the tariffs? China has paid the tariffs. They're gonna pay the tariffs, and they're gonna shut the fuck up and do what America says. No one's noticed that about China. No one ain't noticed that China has shut the fuck up and sat the fuck down. They recognize Trump is in office. Trump is not gonna fuck around. Trump dropped 2 damn near nuclear bombs on Iran in seconds. In seconds, he didn't give no fucks. China shut the fuck up. China shut the fuck up. And Americans, oh, Trump dropped the bomb. No, as I'm doing my show, I was like, I can't believe they don't get why Trump dropped those bombs. It's like, so I explained to them, do you know what America does? Do you know, somebody put in the chat that America is a corporation. Okay, what does America sell? I agree, America is a corporation, but does anybody understand the mission statement and what America's product is? See, America used to produce the TVs, the couches, and the cars. Your grandfather would never buy a car from Korea. Your grandfather would never buy a transistor radio made in China. It was a piece of shit. It would break. They're still pieces of shit. Your grandfather only bought American made. At that time, after World War II, America had all of the factories. No one else had factories and textiles. We made everything. We sold everything. Under Clinton and NAFTA, we shipped all of that overseas, and we became the police, and we started to sell war. We started to sell war. We started to sell war. We became the police of the globe. We no longer manufactured. We sent our manufacturing overseas. But remember the Somalian pirates? In order for this plan to work, we needed police. We needed to police the seas, aircraft carriers, Top Gun, fucking F-16, damn near spaceships that fly in the air and land on boats in the middle of the ocean. It's the most amazing thing you've ever seen. It's like a spaceship. These are like spaceships that fly. They circle the globe and they protect the commerce. America doesn't produce anything. We produce the war machine. We have the largest war machine, and our job since we stopped producing has been to protect the trade. So China could ship goods overnight. They can get shit here overnight, quickly. Amazon could be born. Walmart could be born. Why could Walmart exist and Amazon exist? Because American Navy was ensuring that the shipping would get here logistically overnight, on time. So now we have PayPal, we have online shopping, we have shipping. How is it all done? America manages the seas, the ports, where all the trade occurs. That's why it's legitimate for us to up the tariffs, because of what we do. And no American understands anything or cares to understand. Yes, we deserve to up the tariffs, because any country could not ship their goods with certainty without the American naval and armed forces. You would have to fear pirates. Anybody know about the East Indian Trading Company? The Pirates of the Caribbean, Somalian pirates. The East Indian Trading Company was not farcical, it was real. And the East Indian Trading Company and the Brits, who were the police of the world before America, understood the only way that we can keep our imperial empire, the British Empire that became the American Empire, the only way we can ensure the British Empire is for the East Indian Trading Company to eliminate and murder all of the pirates, to ensure safe shipping and logistics. That's what made it an empire. That's what made it a British Empire. They control all the ports of entry globally in India and China. They set up the ports, they protected the ports, and they stopped the piracy. America took that job. America took that job. When we voted for Trump, when Barack Obama gave a speech at the end of those 2 wars, and we voted for Trump, you know we were in 2 wars for 20 years, Afghanistan and Iraq. When Obama gave the speech that we have fatigue for being in those wars, the reason we voted Make America Great Again, the reason we voted America First is because we were done with wars overseas. We were done with investing in being the police of the globe. You know, NATO. When Trump said he would leave NATO, how many people in MAGA celebrated? When Trump said he would leave NATO, how many people? Because that is us no longer policing the globe. You need to police your own ports. You need to be able to ensure that the goods you ship get there safely without the Navy, without America. I was so happy when I heard Trump threaten to leave NATO, because that is America first and telling the globe, hey, we ain't protecting you no more. We're not protecting your ports. We're not protecting your ships. We're not protecting your logistics, and then paying for it on top of that and giving you a 2% tariff on top of that. All that shit stops. Thank you, Trump. All that shit stops. You pay no tariffs. You don't pay nothing in NATO. You don't do nothing of protection. You don't have no nuclear weapons. You don't do shit, NATO. You don't do shit, France. All that's over. It's America first. We want manufacturing back in our country. We want factories back in America. We don't want factories in China. We don't want factories in Japan. We don't want to protect the Japanese ports and the Chinese ports. We're going to make it here. We're going to make it here now. Yeah, fuck that old deal. That Clinton and NAFTA, fuck that. We don't want that anymore. We don't want the shit built in China. We don't want the shit built in Japan. We're going to build it here ourselves. We want our jobs back. It's America first, make America great again. It's America first, make America great again. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This has been a great live stream. I don't know how to thank you guys. You guys have been great. We do this every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same channel. My name is Perfect. This is the Perfect Time Podcast. Back at it like a crack addict, automatic like a foamatic, built for tragedy, made for static. It's your boy, Perfect Time Podcast, back with the blast, in and out with a dash. 2026 won't last. We're going to get this done real fast and get this cash. Hey, thank you to my brother Mike for that super chat. Thank you to everybody for watching. Double tap, hit the like button. When you subscribe, you're going to get a plus sign. Hit that plus sign. You can join the channel. Membership has its privileges. I created some special emojis. You can get information first before anybody else. We have special members only live streams. So thank you for subscribing. Mad Rush 2.0. Thank you for everybody who subscribed. Thank you for everybody who supported. Thank you for everybody who hit the super chat. I start a couple comments. FBA Kush Boy, Patricia, Mazio, Steven, Slasso, Mike Hurd, you know he's the #1 in the chat, and Mark 80s. All of your comments got highlighted. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you so much for participating and listening. I do my best to educate and have a good time and entertain. This is a podcast. It's not a news report. It's a podcast. We do news and politics, but I'm a podcast host. I'm a comedian and a character. You guys, I love you. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Leave a comment. When the stream is over, leave a comment and have a great day. Oh, on my channel right now, I just posted a bunch of shorts. We got like 10 shorts up. Go watch the shorts and leave a comment, thumbs up. Right now, everybody watching, I need you to go to Perfect Time Podcast, look at all of the shorts, like the shorts, subscribe, leave a comment. I love you. See you tomorrow. Taco Tuesday. Terrific Tuesday. Tariff and terrific together tomorrow. See you.